Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday. We were playing the Atlanta Hawks tonight. First game of two in Toronto against the Hawks. And we played 9:05 last night, winning against the Delaware Bluecoats. Got a couple things to talk about today. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Atlanta Hawks, first game against the Hawks. They are in a similar boat as us. They have a similar record. They're right next to us in the Eastern Conference standings. They have lost 5 of their last 6 games, just like us. So let's look at their injury report, our injury report, and kind of size up their lineup right now. How about that? Yeah, Atlanta has Trae Young listed on the injury list, but he's probable to play, guys. He has a right shoulder soreness, but he is listed as probable for tonight. So Trae Young is actually on the injury list right now, guys, just so you know. But it's more than likely he's going to play tonight. Mohamed Gay is the other. Mohamed Gay. They have Mohamed Gay. He is out today because of his back versus the Raptors. So we will not have any confusion about a guy who has the same name as one of our 905ers playing in this game tonight. So their guy, Mohamed Gay, is not playing tonight. So, yeah, DeAndre Hunter, his knee is a problem right now. He's considered questionable to play against the Raptors tonight. So that, that's another starter that's kind of banged up right now. Jalen Johnson is out. Jalen Johnson had an X-ray and an MRI, and he is diagnosed with a left distal radius fracture, and he will be reevaluated in 3 to 4 weeks. So Jalen Johnson is out, and Kobe Buffkin, the highly touted rookie for the Atlanta Hawks, is out for a few weeks with a thumb fracture. So Atlanta is walking wounded right now. And if I look at their depth chart real quick, we see that, they've been starting Trae Young, DeJounte, DeAndre, Jalen Johnson, and Clint Capella. So it could very well be they're missing 2 of their starters, if not 3 of them, and at least one of them is banged up. So I could see them starting, DeJounte Murray is going to be playing, of course, tonight for sure. They got Bogdan Bogdanovic from the Serbian team this summer at FIBA. He's a very, very good player. Wesley Matthews, Sadiq Bey, Okongwu as the backup center. AJ Griffin, of course. Bruno Fernando, who's another good big that's off the bench. Trent Forrest. Patty Mills is on this team. So we may see some Patty Mills, Australian Patty Mills. Garrison Matthews also on this team. So, yeah, that's what the Hawks are looking like right now. And if they don't have Hunter, they don't have Jalen Johnson for sure. So, yeah, they have injuries right now. So the Hawks are in a similar place as us. We need to beat them. This is one of those crossroads where it's like 2 teams that are 9-13 going to battle each other. Well, we're going to see who's going to win. I know we're 9-14 and they're 9-13, but it's basically the same record, y'all. Come on now. On our side of things, the injuries are Otto Porter Jr. is questionable for today's game due to his foot, the same foot that has been a problem. Koloko is out, and he will not be playing, respiratory illness. And Chris Boucher is questionable for the game tonight with his quad bruise. So, yeah, we'll see if Chris is playing tonight. It may be that he does sit out this game tonight with the freshness of the bruise from the New York game. And then Otto, we'll have to see if he's ready to play or not himself. So, yeah, here we go. Let's go right into the refs. This is a big, big thing because the refs are very interesting tonight. I'll tell you right now, is what I'll say. Our referee crew chief tonight is Scott Foster. He's in his 31st year as a referee out of Maryland. His favorite TV shows are Shameless and Ozark. His favorite movie is Braveheart. He likes Michael Franti and Spearhead as his favorite musicians. His favorite meal is Maryland blue crabs with corn on the cob. His favorite app is PGA Tour Live. He must like to visit Italy. He'd like to win a pickleball championship. And his hidden talent is body surfing. Oh, my gosh. Scott Foster considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be the Game 7 of the 2010 NBA Finals between the Lakers and the Celtics. He refereed the game with 2 of his mentors, Dan Crawford and Joey Crawford. Yeah, this guy's establishment, motherfucker number 1 in the referee mafia. I'll tell you that right now. This is Donaghy's right-hand man coming down to referee our game tonight. We know Scott Foster's full of shit. Yeah, Scotty said it. You be cheating. We know you be cheating, Scott Foster. But in this case, I have no idea what his presence is for our game against Atlanta. It means tonight. Because seriously, in some ways, like he could be coming to do a ref hit job on us to really bury us because we've been losing so bad. They know, the Raptors are in trouble. Let's kick them really down by making sure they lose to Atlanta. The other red flag I have is this is the first time we're playing another Eastern Conference opponent with playoff implications. It could very well be Scott Foster's coming here to make sure the Raptors take an L to the Hawks tonight, y'all. So we're going to need to watch out for this. He definitely does favor them statistically. He is our worst referee tonight, Scott Foster. We win 44% of our games when he's available to ref us, and we lost the last game he refed us, which was, I believe it was either the Brooklyn game or the Orlando game in the in-season tournament that he refereed us last. Meanwhile, Atlanta wins 50% of their games with him. It's 49.5. So 44 to 50 is the split in the favor of the Atlanta Hawks with Scott Foster, the crew chief, tonight. The second ref is Carl Lane, Star Wars enthusiast. His 14th season in the league as a ref out of Arkansas. His favorite TV show is Power. He loves the Star Wars movies. His favorite musician is Jay-Z. He also loves Star Wars books. That's how you know he's a Star Wars nerd, because he likes the books too. But yeah, we love Carl Lane. Man, may the force be with you, Carl Lane. We love you, bro. If we're going to have any help, maybe it'll be from you. Favorite meal is Mexican. His favorite app is Candy Crush. He'd most like to visit Rome. His hidden talent is home repair. Carl Lane worked as an in-school suspension teacher for 2 years in Little Rock, Arkansas. That's right. He was that guy in Breakfast Club. Hey, you better sit over there and be quiet in the corner while I read this book at this desk in front of the class. Yeah, he was the Breakfast Club with Star Wars and a little bit mixed in there. Yeah, we love you, Carl Lane. We want to be your friend. This is our record with Carl Lane is the best. He's our favorite ref tonight. We win 57% of our games when Carl Lane's around. Meanwhile, the Hawks win 54%. So we are favored by the second ref, Carl Lane, 57 to 54. Yeah, you're our friend. May the force be with you. Yeah, our third ref is another old head ref. We got these old head establishment refs, and he's another one that's a problem, just like Scott Foster. Derek Richardson is our third ref, 28th season out of Brooklyn, New York. His favorite TV show is Abbott Elementary. His favorite movie is Field of Dreams. His favorite musician, Marvin Gaye, and also Roy Ayers. His favorite book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. His favorite meal, plankton, rice and beans, and steamed cabbage. So he's buddies with SpongeBob SquarePants, obviously. If this man's taking out plankton for his meal, his favorite app is SoundHound, and he'd most like to visit Jerusalem and Sierra Leone. Derek Richardson is interesting. He's the executive director of the Why Can't We Make a Difference Foundation. Its mission is to increase elementary school students' academic and emotional interest in school through academic and social enrichment programs in the underserved school communities of Los Angeles. So he's giving back to the school communities of LA, and that is awesome. Now, Derek Richardson is an interesting ref. He's right in the middle between Scott Foster and Carl Lane. We win 51% of our games when Derek Richardson's around. And meanwhile, the Hawks win 41%. So the split is in our favor. The third ref is on our side, 51 to 42. But Scott Foster is the leader of the ref crew. So it's really going to be up to Scott Foster and how he wants to lead these guys going through this game. So yeah, the ref crew is shady. It's shady. Scott Foster is refereeing us tonight. So that's all you need to know right there. Scott Foster, Carl Lane, Derek Richardson. That's your refs. Yeah. All right. Now we'll get into the comments with you guys. I do ask once again, because Adriana is still here visiting with me. We'll make this tight and short. Let's keep it on basketball, y'all. No talking about baseball. No talking about conflicts in the world right now. No extracurriculars. Let's keep it on business today. We'll talk about the 905 tonight. We'll talk about the preview for the 905 yesterday, the preview for the game tonight, and anything else that's Raptors related. Otherwise, let's keep it on topic today and maybe tight and nice. So limit the comments just so you can give old Lex the chance to hang out with his lady a little extra before she takes off this afternoon. All right, let's go. Trevor J saying, good morning, Raptors family. Happy game day. Happy game day to Trevor J. The Trevor J Cup is still in my possession for now. You may not see this very often on this show anymore very soon, because this will be going to Kenrick very soon. Let's see. Good morning, Raptors family. Happy game day. He's saying, what a game last night for 905, Jonte Porter and Noel and Justice. Finally the right lineup. Yeah, and learn. Okay, this is the words of wisdom. Learn to be okay with people who don't know your side of the story. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. That's right. That's right. In some ways, nobody needs to explain themselves to anyone if they don't have to or they don't want to. You know, it's none of people's business, honestly, a lot of times. And, people are just nosy and they don't need to be knowing your business anyway. So yeah, I'm with you on this. That's right. In some ways, like I'm already thinking about this for the holidays, as far as with my family. You don't need to know about me, all right? Let's see. Trevor saying drama back at it again last night after game after just coming off a suspension, got ejected out of the game after he struck Nurkic in the face. Yeah, I don't need. Oh, Draymond. You mean Draymond? Once again, Trevor J. Read your comments and edit them before. You just told me drama back, and you mean Draymond. I know you mean Draymond because I know about the situation. And in some ways, once again, I'm staying strictly on Raptors. I don't give a shit about the rest of the NBA right now because I'm on a time limit right now. So I'm not going to comment on that because I don't give a shit about Draymond's stupid shit. I appreciate your words of wisdom. And let's do the 905 check real quick since he brought it up. Fantastic win by the 905 last night. Finally winning again, 122 to 104 over the Delaware Bluecoats. And Patrick McCaw. That's right, Patrick McCaw. Jeff Doughton Jr. on the bench, not playing last night for the Bluecoats. I wish he would be healthy so he could play against them tomorrow, maybe. My 5 stars of the game for the 905. First of all, the newly acquired Jontay Porter, our new two-way, was our number 1 star of the game. 27 points, 11 of 16 shooting. He started the game 7 for 7 in the first quarter, and he was bombing threes. 4 of 6 from 3. He hit his only free throw. 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, a +8 with 27 points in 29 minutes. This guy is badass. And all the Raptor freaks that were in the comments in the stream for the 905 game last night were all saying, call him up right now. In fact, I'd love to see Jontay be available to the Raptors in the Hawks game tonight. There's no reason why it can't happen. They're in the same city. He is a two-way. He is eligible. If the Raptors are smart and they were scouting the 905, if you're paying attention, you should see that the young man is playing at a high level, and he needs to be playing for y'all tonight because you could use him in this game against the Atlanta Hawks tonight. So, Darko, don't be shy. Pull the trigger, bring up Jontay Porter, and put him in a Raptors jersey tonight is what I want to see right now. Please. Mohamedou Gueye returning to the lineup last night. Thank God, but he is not one of my stars yet. Kevin Obanor is the second star for me in this game last night. He was fantastic with the double-double, 21 points, 12 rebounds in 28 minutes, 8 of 13 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. These two bigs really lighten it up for the Raptors, going 9 for 13. That's badass. 5 offensive rebounds for Obanor. He said that's what he's supposed to do. His manager, his agent told him, he said this after the game and post game, that you need to get half the rebounds for your team and stop screwing around. You only got 4 rebounds in the last game, Kevin. So get out there and get more rebounds. So he went out there and got 12 rebounds in the game last night, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, a +13, 21 points. Kevin Obanor is my second star of the game. The things I like about Kevin Obanor is that he's doing post stuff. He's really a bull around the basket, and he's making himself get shots in the lane, just putting them in. And then he's hitting threes from the outside, and he's aggressively attacking the glass. So you go, Kevin Obanor. I love to see it, man. And honestly, you're better than just a G League player. You should be a two-way, maybe, possibly, in my book, honestly. Let's see. Third star, Marquise Noel, back with a vengeance also in the second game back. He got a double-double too. 12 points, 15 assists with only 3 turnovers. For a while, Marquise had this line where he had 12 assists and 1 turnover or something like that. He got like 11 assists before he got his first turnover. A +20 for Noel, 5 of 11 from the field, 2 of 5, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block also. The Marquise was just all over it. I love seeing him hound the other team on defense. He really is a shit disturber, and he gets that ball unlocked and out and loose quite often. So, yeah, he's very much like a Muggsy Bogues on steals. He's down there at a new level, lower level, and he's just getting that ball out of other people's hands. And then he had a couple 3-point shots that were deadly, wide open. They left him, and he just nailed them. There's a very much a strong confidence in Marquise Noel with his shot and also as a floor general. We saw a silver platter passing where he go in, he dribble and get underneath the basket, and then he just flip it over to Mohamedou Gueye or one of the other guys, and they'd have an easy dunk, setting them up so nice that they can't screw it up. That's what a point guard does, y'all. Marquise Noel, textbook point guard, and showing it off last night. You go, Marquise. You are my third star of the game. Mohamedou Gueye, his return game after the scary injury. Thank God he was back. It was such a pleasant surprise to see Mo Gueye and Maker show up for this game, and Justice Winslow. We had the reinforcements come back, and that was a big reason why the Raptors 905 looked way better last night. We were healthy finally. Mohamedou, 6 of 9 from the field, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, a plus 20 with 12 points. I just love that he made most of the shots. He got 3 blocks, and he was active on the glass. Early in the game, he was doing a lot of stuff above the rim and was helping the 905 to take the lead and get ahead of the Bluecoats. So good return, Mohamedou Gueye. Very, very happy to see you back out there and healthy. The fifth star is Daryl Morsell. Daryl Morsell was really pretty good and efficient off the bench, 6 of 8, 20 minutes, 14 points. He got 4 assists, 1 rebound. He did have 2 turnovers, but otherwise, Daryl Morsell shooting very well and efficient off the bench. Now, in honorable mention, I will say we could put Justice Winslow on this list also. In his debut as a Raptors 905, 16 minutes, 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 3 from free throw, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 13 points in 16 minutes. Yeah, it was a great all-around effort by the 905 in general. They played together. It's great to see different weapons for them together, and just the collective's more correct. No Jayshawn Page at all in this game. What a change from the last few games when everybody's hurt. Now you don't need Jayshawn Page taking 20 shots and jacking up all the threes and being selfish. So, yeah, very, very good stuff for the 905. I love it. And listen, this crew can do a lot more damage in the regular season once the Showcase Cup is up. They're 2-11. There's nothing they can do at this point to go to the Showcase Cup. So just use these tune-up games as far as the rest of the Showcase Cup season as a tune-up for the regular season and get yourself shit together. And then when the new season starts, hit the ground running and dominate that season and win the G League championship. Wouldn't that be crazy if the Raptors 905 could go 2-11 or something like that in the Showcase Cup, but then turn around and win the G League championship in the second half of the season? Well, the injuries that they've had this year could very well be like a Spurs injury to a championship kind of turnaround. Seriously, it's like they got everybody back last night and they're a whole different team. They're badasses. And 905 games are very fun to watch when they have the full complement of their roster. And boy, were they fun to watch last night. All kinds of good stuff. So definitely tune in tomorrow when they get their rematch against the Delaware Bluecoats in Mississauga tomorrow also. They'll be playing them again tomorrow, y'all. So, yeah, there's your Raptors 905 look. Very, very good game. They were dominating in a lot of different ways. They shot a very high percentage, and they just were fantastic to watch. Marquise Noel, you're my hero, bro. You are my hero. Yeah. All right, MSJ saying, happy to hear the 905 playing well. Any pure shooting down there? A lot of them are shooting well. I mean, if you want me to look at the stats for the shooters real quick, their shooting last night was basically as this. They shot 48.5% from field goal, so that's not bad. 36.8 from 3 and 80% free throw shooting. Now, if there's anybody in particular, I mean, Jonte is really dialed in, and that's part of the reason why I want them to call him up. Because if Darko and the Raptors are really paying attention to 905, they'll see that they've got a hot player in a hot streak right now. He said at halftime, it's because of the great reinvigorating Canadian air that he is breathing in right now. That's what Jonte Porter said about why he's playing better right now. It's the Canadian air in his lungs is rejuvenating him and making him shoot really well. And that's what I'm saying. Teams need to watch for streak shooters on their lower levels. And honestly, he's a two-way. He's already eligible to play for us. You need to recognize Rajakovic, that Jonte Porter is on a hot streak, and bring him up to play right now because that man's confident and he's playing at a level that can play in the NBA, and he can really help us as a backup center instead of Precious right now. That's the thing. He could be our Koloko fill-in right now. And I just hope that the Raptors organization recognizes that Jonte's on a little bit of a streak right now, and they call him up. That would be very smart and intelligent. And I would have a lot of confidence in y'all recognizing on the fly a new player, even though he's new and he doesn't know everything very well yet. He's really smart and he's figured it out already, a lot of it. And he could really help us on the big squad, I think, tonight. So please really strongly consider this, Raptors management, using Jonte for one of his two-way games tonight right away, because you might want to catch that lightning in a bottle of how well he's playing right now. He really is on fire. He's shooting the lights out in his first 2 games with the 905, and it's from 3. He's just making them all, man. He can't miss. So do it today. Oh my gosh, please bring him up. MSJ saying Jokic ejected too on Serbian Heritage Night, no less. Well, in some ways, that's just part of the spirit of it, isn't it? Trevor's saying yes, Jonte Porter and Noel and Kevin O'Banner. That's right. A very nice squad down there. They're very different kinds of players. You have different roles, very defined. And look, you can have different guys doing different things, and boom, it adds up to success. When you have just a generic 905 fill-in replacement guys, when all the good guys are out, like Winslow and Maker and Noel, well, it's kind of confusing. And the Raptors 905 did this last night without Javon Freeman Liberty also. So they're not completely full strength yet. They have other levels of getting even better when JFL shows up back too. Yeah. Bryce Lawson's in Kentucky holding it down. Good morning, Lex and the Raptor Freaks. Good morning to our Kentucky Raptor Freak chapter president, Mr. Bryce Lawson. I hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday so far. And let's see a good W over the Atlanta Hawks tonight. We're due. I don't care if Scott Foster's there. Scotty, mend the fences even more with your namesake, Scott. Scott, talk to Scott and talk it out. Let's get this right. In some ways, Foster, you did Barnes wrong when you threw him out in that Denver game. And in some ways, you need to show that, that you guys can mend fences. I know Scott came to you and apologized. I'm sure he said, I'm sorry I called you a cheater, even though you are. But yeah, that hopefully the Scots can find more kinship in having the same first name. So please, Foster, be nice to Barnes tonight. Please, please, please. All right, let's see. MSJ saying that's good to hear. I have to look into Jonte. Seems like a good player. You should just be watching these 905 games, MSJ. The guy is phenomenal. He's gotten a few really nice blocks. He's very mobile for his size. He does inside work and outside work. He did a little bit of his offensive bag, all kinds of tricks in different places in the game last night. And he was on fire. Like I said, he had 23 points after the first quarter. Now, he only got 27 by the end of the game, but they went away from him a lot. But right at the bat, he was on fire and just killing it in the first quarter. Absolutely killing it. Cool Cat saying lots of 905 players are healthy and return to the court. That's a W. Hopefully we can call up Justice Winslow and Porter soon enough. We will not be calling up Justice Winslow. He has no path to be up on our team, Cool Cat. He is just a regular G League player at this point. He is not a two-way, and that we'd have to convert and change contracts. So Winslow is not in the plans to be on the Raptors, just so you know that. Winslow is on the 905 to save his NBA career. This is his last chance, or he's gone. In some ways, he's like Josh Jackson, just a year or so ago. He's on the cusp of losing his NBA career. This is his last chance, and he's not online to come up to the big club. So don't expect that, Cool Cat. And if we can be more information people for the rest of the nation, let them know. So nobody should start thinking Justice Winslow is coming to the Raptors, because he's not. There's no path for him to do that. In fact, he's more likely to get signed and picked up by another team in the league than us. This would only happen if it's something like Ron Harper getting hurt. Now, Ron Harper got hurt, and instead of going and converting Justice Winslow to a two-way, we went and got Jonte, which is a much better decision, trust me. But yeah, don't expect Winslow in a Raptors jersey. It's not going to happen, just so you know. Let's see. Bryce is saying Justice, Porter, and Noel. Well, Porter and Noel will be in Raptors jerseys, but not Justice Winslow, guys. Not him. You just get it out of your head right now. You will not see him playing for the Raptors, just so you know. Kareem saying Raptors 905, a.k.a. the All-Star Globetrotters. That's what Kareem kept saying last night. We're in the chat last night watching the game together. And he's like, oh, yeah, they were looking like the Globetrotters. There was one point where Noel did the off the backboard. He was ahead on the fast break. He threw it off the backboard, and Miles Burns grabbed it and jammed it down. It was just like in a movie. Just like in a movie that's starring like Ray Allen or Tupac Shakur. It's like, yeah, it was so awesome. It was really very much like a Globetrotter kind of thing. Yeah, very, very Globetrotter-ish. All right, let's keep going in the chat. Let's see. Bryce is saying Jonte is super nice. I like his game a lot. Yeah, I like his game a lot too. It's like it's complete. That's the thing. This guy's ready for the NBA. My eye test is telling me right now, listen, it's great that we got him on a two-way, and it's a steal, honestly. He's ready to come up and help us right now. There was a guy in the chat with us last night named Tom who is a good family friend of the Porter family, Michael Porter Jr. and Jontay Porter. And he's like very close with them. And he was telling us stuff about him. Jontay Porter is an extremely intelligent young man. He's a very good character. Apparently, he's a financial wizard. He has like a lot of like the financial business where he's involved in stocks and making money. And so far, he's very, very successful at his investments. So this is some of the inside stuff from family friend Tom, who was in the chat last night with us, telling us that he's really proud of Jontay. He's excited for his opportunity with the Raptors as a two-way, and he's hoping that we do call him up very soon. I will tell you this, that young man is very smart. He's very capable, and honestly, I think he's ready. He needs to be playing for us tonight. Seriously, he just showed up like all of a sudden, but this kid knows how to play, and he's good enough to play in the NBA. In some ways, his dominance, the way he was playing last night, reminded me of like Chris Boucher shit in 905 a few years ago. So this kid is an NBA player, and he's ready. He's ready, trust me. And he's really, really smart. Like the way he talked after the game and the interviews, and the interview in the middle of the game with Lindsey Dunn, he's just a very personable, great personality, and very, very intelligent, and very much got the right head on his shoulders. One of the things I really liked about Jontay in the first two games on 905 is he's unselfish. I've seen him passing and making extra passes as the big man from the inside really, really well. So it's not like he's a ball hog and he just shoots it all the time. He's also looking for his teammates cutting and hitting them with great assists also. So, yeah, I think he's ready to go up. He's ready to go up. He is super nice as a person, and his game is nice, Bryce. I agree. Kareem saying, don't forget about Hamidou Gueye. That's right. So happy to see him back. So happy to see him back, and he's okay. Bryce is saying Mogi definitely baby Boucher brings energy just like him. Yeah. And Cool Cat saying good morning to the Rapid Free crew. And Kareem saying Ron Harper Jr. injury is a blessing in disguise. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. In some ways I feel that way too. Jontay's paying off right away. And it makes me feel better that, like, I don't know who made that decision, but that was a badass decision. It's like I said in the chat last night, Common, Masai, and Bobby, and Win acquiring Jontay Porter and making him the new two-way. That's a win for our front office. And, everybody's going to talk about, oh, they're losing and they're not doing this well. Well, motherfuckers, they just got a really good, badass player. And he kind of covers a lot of stuff we need as a backup center, another great three-point shooter. Yeah, there's a lot to him that helps with some of the things we're lacking right now. So, yeah, you tell us our front office is failing. They just hit another one out of the park. If you're really paying attention on the down low, you'll know Jontay Porter was a fantastic acquisition already. And they're going to see it. They're going to see it when he comes up. And then people maybe will give some credit to Masai and Bobby on this. I hope they do. They're always pointing out all their lumps and their problems. Why don't you point out the good stuff they do? Like Jontay Porter is what I'll say right now. Yeah. Let's see. Firebolt saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Great 905 win last night. Yes, Firebolt. Also in the chat with the 905 game last night. I really love that being in there with you guys and being one of the chat people like y'all instead of like what I do here. It's just fun to be in there, and like it's very much RFF in there at this point. We're kind of taking over the 905 live chats on YouTube at this point. And there's always kind of other people interacting in there with us. And sometimes I got a little bit of a spirited debate with somebody near the end of the game, just about the Gary Trent Jr., Dennis Schroeder shit that's going on right now as far as starting and stuff. You saw me in action doing the good fight the way I always say on here in other places. And I think that in some ways I got somewhere with that guy as far as just kind of explaining to him, it really is Gary's foot that is causing him not to shoot well. It's not whether he starts or comes off the bench. He's injured and he's not playing very well. I hope that he understood some things from just talking to me last night. Cool Cat saying at Kareem, I heard that Raptors paid Ron Harper his full contract. That's so nice. Yeah, that's the kind of thing we should do. And honestly, his contract probably wasn't that crazy or anything like that. He may have been guaranteed for it anyway. That may have legally had to do it anyway to do what they did. But it does sound nice, and it's great in some ways. So, yeah. Fun guy saying, I prefer Trae Young to play, though he will shit on us offensively. We can exploit such a small guy on defense. Either way, I don't care. They're saying he's probable. As people have said this week, we get Jalen Brunson is probable for the game on Monday. He shows up. So we should just expect Trae Young to play today. We really should, because probable means he probably is going to play. That's what that means. Kareem saying, damn good on the organization for taking care of fallen soldiers. Yeah, that's a good look. And once again, Ron is somebody that did everything right while he's here. It's just too bad that he got hurt, honestly. And like you guys said, in some ways, it's a blessing in disguise. I agree. Bryce is saying Supernatural is the greatest show of all time. Totally irrelevant, but I had to say it. Okay. You want one of the refs to have that as their favorite show? Maybe one day I'll read the ref report, Bryce, and it'll be Supernatural as their favorite show. We'll see. MSJ saying, oh, God, the refs. Fuck. Remember how I told you on this. It's Fott Scoster. It's Fott Scoster. Spell it right. The C goes with the S to the second name, Chris. I can't read it when you put Fakat. That's not a fucking word. Fakat. It's Fott Scoster. Fott Scoster, okay? Randolph saying, blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, on this game day. Lex, that 905 game was a joy to watch last night. Porter looks like the kind of player we need on the main team. He's a breath of fresh air. Yeah, I agree with this. I agree with all of this. Exactly. Blessings to you, Randolph Phillips, and the Phillips family, and all the Raptor Freaks families out there right now. Wayne saying, 905 win, 905 win. Good to see so-called shooters actually come in and make shots. Porter didn't need 20 games to get it going. Good to see Winslow on the court as well. 905 looking up. Yeah, those games are exciting. If you guys are down on the Raptors and watching them right now because they're not playing so well, 905 starting to show signs of life, and it's very, very exciting. Last night's game was so fun. And listen, in some ways, I like that wave pool to start from the little pool, getting that little wave coming up, and hopefully that wave goes into the big pool with the main team. And that wave of goodness and teamwork and good things happens for the Raptors next, because that's kind of how it works, y'all. The 905 and the G League team can actually kind of premeditate things that are going to happen for the other team. This is the history of the 905 has done this. In some ways, the spinning the wheels of the 905 the last couple of years has premeditated the spinning of the wheels of the upper team this whole time. So this is really key. In some ways, you want a predeterminant that will tell you how the Raptors are going to do in the future. Well, watch the 905 a little bit and see how they're doing. I know it's not totally connected or right, but for some reason, I feel this energy, the way they mirror each other sometimes. That last year, they were a very mid and 500 team, just like the Raptors were. So hopefully, if the 905 have everybody healthy and they start rolling, then maybe hopefully the same thing will happen for the upper team. And that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm really, really hoping. Yeah, let's see. Firebolt saying Scott Foster reffing with the way Trae Young flails around might be an issue for us tonight. Hopefully not, though. Well, in some ways, we could say this. I don't know how their history is. I know that Scott Foster has a problem with outspoken guards, Chris Paul. And, it could be very likely that Scott Foster doesn't like Trae Young. There's a lot of changes in rules in the recent years, like the offensive kickout rule, that is partly because of Trae Young trying to bait for extra foul. So if Scott Foster's holding things to the letter of the law, as far as the NBA wants with things, any of the kind of screwy shit that Trae Young would do to manipulate to try and get fouls and stuff like that, hopefully you'll see through it. It could very well be that Scott Foster may be against Trae Young, and that may be actually in our favor. I don't know. I don't know enough about their relationship specifically. But I know the way Trae Young is with his complaining and all that kind of stuff, that probably doesn't go well with Scott Foster and the way he refs. So we'll have to pay attention to this, that maybe they do not have a good relationship. And it could be a factor to help the Raptors if Scott Foster's annoyed by Trae Young somehow. We'll have to see. Monique is here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Let's show some fight like last night. Jonte deserves a call up this early. We're all saying it. It's unanimous, Darko. If you want to come get the litmus test, you want to come find out what the Raptor Freak family is talking about in the morning, we're talking about call up Jonte Porter and put him in a Raptors jersey tonight at the Scotiabank Arena against the Atlanta Hawks. If you are on a fact-finding mission, you want to test the ground and see what the real fans want, that's what we're saying right here. Is let's do this. The reason why I feel like it is that if you got bottled lightning, you want to catch it. Catch that bottle lightning and get a hold of it. He's got bottle lightning right now. And that bottle lightning could spark and cause some good things to happen on the main roster if you bring him up. I'm telling you right now, Darko, he may be new. He may not have practiced with y'all. He may not be familiar, but just bring him up. Bring his energy up just a little bit. In some ways, it's a good way to show people that you get rewarded for playing at a high level at one other levels. This is the one thing I want the team to do is you reward guys for playing their ass off. You get the starting job when you outplay the starter from the bench, not when you shit the bed with an 0 for 7. So Jonte kicking ass on the 905. If you want to have a reward system, let him come up to the main roster tonight and play because the man's playing so well, he deserves it. And you should reward people that are going above and beyond. Is how I feel about it. That's right. That's right. Let's see. MSJ saying plankton and beans. Yummy. Yeah, plankton. I've never had plankton. It makes me think it'd be like squid or calamari or something like that. Just littler. And I wonder if he makes really crazy, like villainous comments when you're eating them. Oh, don't eat me. No, SpongeBob. I don't know. Cool cat. No, Mo's here. Mo's saying 2 wins for 905. I repeat, 2 wins. I know Mo's real tough on it, but I'm telling you, Mo, the ties are changing. If everybody's healthy, this team's going to win now. That's what I'm saying. This is another day. They all showed up at once. We had like 5 guys show up back from the injury list all of a sudden. Daryl Morsell, Mo Gee, Maker, Marquise Noel, Jonte Porter, Justice Winslow. All these guys show up all of a sudden, and boom, we have our real team, and we see that this whole thing that we've been doing so far has been a farce. It's not been the real 905. It's been imposter 905. Now, real 905 is in the house, and it's ready to rock and roll like the Harlem Globetrotters would. That's right. All right, let's see. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. The 905 were awesome last night. Justice, Marquise, and Jonte were awesome. Yeah, they're definitely a couple of my stars. Tristan saying, let's go 905. Let's go Tristan Phipps, Raptor Freak. That's right. Trevor J saying that's what they're calling him, drama. That's what they call Draymond now, drama. Man, in some ways, it's the same tired, broken record. He's just a violence person. And honestly, I don't have any time for Draymond today. Jillian saying, morning, y'all. Good morning to you, Jillian. Hope you're doing well this morning. Raptor Freak possible rookie of the year, Jillian. Stargate saying, Banner's game kind of reminds me of Corliss Williamson. Ooh, that's a throwback. And I like it. Stargate. You know what? That is a really good, like, honestly, that's a really good. I know you're an old school guy because you're talking about Corliss Williamson. That is a really good comparison. I'll see it. Stargate, you're getting a dunk for an astute comparison. There is a lot of similarities. They have a similar body type. And in some ways, they're not really high flyers. They're kind of grounded, kind of like brute kind of players. Yeah, Corliss Williamson, a great Raptor back in the day. Played again. Sue's here, guys. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Let's go get him tonight. There you go. Y'all check out Sue's YouTube channel. She's always checking new songs and old songs and doing music reactions with herself and her friends. It's just a fun time on Play It Again, Sue. Checking it out on YouTube. A great Raptor Freak with a great musical reaction channel. So definitely check out Sue's channel, y'all. Randolph Phillips saying, Lex, I read that Page was let go without any explanation. Really? Yeah, he wasn't even on the bench or anything like that. Well, I did kind of call it the other day. We were talking about it. We were pissed about it after this Saturday game, how much Jay Sean was freezing out Grady Dick in that game and not giving the ball to him. Well, it's like, come on, man, get with the program. We're trying to get our rookie some reps and get him developed. And meanwhile, you're hogging the ball, bro. Well, hasta la vista, baby. That's sad in some ways, but in some ways, he needs to know his role, like The Rock would say. Know your role, jabroni. That's right. That's interesting, Randolph. I did not know this. Thank you for the information. Fiercey's here. Good to see Fiercey. Saw Sarah. Good morning, fam, and happy Wednesday. Thanks for the wise words, Trevor. Let's get the dub tonight, fam. Winning streak starting. That's right, Fiercey. That's right. We're going to do this tonight. And Monique's saying Marquise Noel is a real point guard and very pesky. Yeah, I love the way Marquise plays. He's just a joy to watch. He just does it right. And he has a very good confidence. Listen, if you're going to be that size and try and play in the NBA, you better be confident. You know, there's nothing that will shake that young man. In some ways, he's going to have moments where he may look humiliated because of his size, but it doesn't matter. He's just going to keep going. And that's the kind of thing you want around your team. I'll say it again. When Fred VanVleet came into our team as an undersized point guard and went to the 905, he started pushing everybody in the organization up. And that's the thing. We need somebody who's a badass at the little guy on the lower part of the team is pushing all the competition up in the whole organization, whether it's on 905 and on the main roster. He made Kyle Lowry have to work harder. He made Norman Powell have to work harder. And we want Marquise to do this more and more from the bottom. doing the things that he does and at his level because of what he is with this height and showing that his drive and his push is what will drive other people around him. He's like, oh shit, Marquise can come take my job. That's really what it was like when Fred VanVleet was in our organization in the beginning. It's like, oh shit, Corey Joseph, you better be watching out because Fred may come in and take your backup point guard job. So any kind of player like that can push up competition and make other guys play better because they're looking over their shoulder. That's always good. So Marquise, you do what you're going to do, and hopefully it'll be a little bit like a Fred VanVleet point 2.0. And I'm all about that. I'm all about that. I am. Dana's here. Canadian Dana's in the house. I am Canadian. Good morning, everybody. Happy game day. Let's get this win. Let's beat the Hawks. They're ripe. We are ripe for winning. They have the same kind of record as us. They've lost the 5 of their last 6 just like us. And it's time for somebody to win. And I want it to be us. And in fact, we beat the Hawks. This is something Darko could tell these guys. You want to rise up in the Eastern Conference standings? Well, they're right next to us and they're right above us. And you beat them? Well, we can get a little bit of get up over them and we'll actually have a play-in spot at that point. So, yeah, there's a lot in some ways to give them as a carrot to go for in this game. You go for the goals of getting above them and getting in the play-in. That's what I'm saying right now. Yeah. Fiercely saying the only ejection that made sense yesterday was Draymond. So glad we don't have someone like that in our team, such a distraction and a negative aura. Yeah. I mean, in some ways he has pluses and minuses. In some ways, those pluses are really badass too. But yeah, he can be a distraction. He's very annoying. Most people just ignore him as much as possible, is what I'm hearing. Wayne saying our senior team just needs contribution of 6 to 10 points from somebody other than the core. Explain the difference. NBA 905 showcase games and the other games. Well, Wayne, the Showcase Cup tournament part is very much like the in-season tournament. In fact, the guinea pig for them to do the in-season tournament and the main NBA was tested with the Showcase Cup in the G League. The G League Showcase Cup is an extended format of the IST. Instead of 4 games they play 16 games in the Showcase Cup that all go towards the record, and whoever wins and those gets to go to Vegas for the Showcase Cup finals, which is just like the IST. So it's the same format as the IST. It's just that the group play games before are 16 games instead of 4. Now, if the NBA really wants to screw around with things and make the in-season tournament even more bona fide or bigger, they can add more than 4 games to qualify for what happens. And in some ways, that's the smart thing to do, because with only 4 games and group play to determine who goes to the IST in Vegas in the quarterfinals and stuff, there's more likely that point differential will matter. So if you have it more deep, like say next year, the in-season tournament has 8 games in the game before the stuff before, double it, then there will be less likely that point differential will have to determine certain things. And that in some ways is smart, that they branch out and make the in-season tournament even bigger as far as that. So the Showcase Cup is a 16-game in-season tournament, basically. And then when they're done with it, which will be over around Christmas, then they switch in the new calendar year. It's the regular season 905 G League season. And there's actually the championship for that too. So yeah, the whole Showcase Cup is the guinea pig for why they did the in-season tournament, and they've been doing it for a couple years. It was their trial-based test run. So that's what it is right there. Let's see. Jillian saying, looking forward to seeing how the Raps handled Trae Young. Cheers. Yeah, let's think about it. Dennis on Trae Young isn't a bad matchup. In fact, I think Dennis played with Trae Young on the Hawks for a little while. So they may be quite familiar with each other, I would think. Wasn't Dennis on the Hawks at some point with Trae Young? I mean, they did have a long history together. Well, Dennis was on the Hawks for quite a while, but was he was there when Trae was there, or like very young, maybe, right? Monique saying David Thorpe can fly a kite. Fuck my life. Yes, I'm still pissed. Dennis is the fucking best. All right, let's bring this up because it did come up yesterday, and I will say fuck you, David Thorpe. I'll say fuck you, William Liu. I'll say fuck you, Ed Rogers III. Well, it seems like December is David's month. And this seems like this is a very common occurrence at this point, that David Thorpe wants to show up in December and start giving interviews. In some ways, I know he has an axe to grind with Masai. Why are you doing this, David? Seriously. Nobody needs to hear your shit. Nobody cares. In some ways, what you did last year was annoying, it was distracting, and it didn't help anything. In fact, you made Masai's job a lot harder. And that's all he's trying to do. I really do believe at this point that David Thorpe has a vendetta against Masai Ujiri, and he hates him for some reason, because he didn't give him a job after the whole thing where David helped him. He's like, oh, you're not helping me, Masai. Well, I'm just going to be a pest and make dumb little interviews and shit like that. And of course, Ed Rogers broadcast the incorporation will put him on a platform to be able to say the stupid shit he's going to say. Basically, he's blaming everything on Dennis, is what I'm hearing. I didn't watch the interview because honestly, I don't need to hear that dumbass's voice and what he's saying. He's basically saying everything Dennis is the problems with the Raptors, and that's what's the issue with this team. Well, motherfucker, last year was Fred and OG and Nick, and now you're starting to say it's Dennis and Darko. Yeah, fuck you, David. Just fuck off. We don't need to hear from you. And fuck you, Will Lou and Rogers Corp for putting him on blast and he just puts more confusion out there. Then you got poor Basketball Rewind, Kenyon buying into David and putting it all over Twitter and saying, yes, he's right. I knew this too. No, y'all are wrong. And fuck you, David Thorpe. Go back to under the rock you climbed up from under and just fuck off, please. Because honestly, nobody needs to hear your opinion. You're obviously got some sort of extra grind with Masai from your past with him, and fuck you for it. All right, seriously, you're not helpful, and nobody needs to do this. And fuck you, Will Lou, for having him on your show. If I was Dennis Schroeder, I'd be like, Will Lou, you want me to come on your show on Friday when you just had some sort of jabroni on Tuesday talking about how I need to lose my starting job and that I'm the whole problem on this team? I would tell them, I'd be like, Schroeder, if I was you, I would say, fuck you. I'm not coming on your fucking Raptor show ever again. If I was Dennis Schroeder, if he's going to have out of pocket guests or talking out of their ass like this stupid shit, most people understand this is not Dennis's fault. They realize it's a collective problem with the team as far as they're not coming professionally. They're not coming with the right energy. We're having a bad shooting time. There's a lot of factors that have to do with this. And anybody who's just trying to point one finger at one person on the fucking team and making them the scapegoat, fuck you. That's not how it works. It's team sports, and it's not Dennis's fault. It's not Dennis's fault. And in a lot of ways, it's not Darko's fault either. It's the whole team is not coming correct to the games and being professional enough to win professional basketball. And that's pure damn truth of it. Whether they're not professional enough to make their open shots, whether they're not professional enough to keep up with their defensive assignments in transition and guard the way they're supposed to. So you fucking pinpoint saying it's Dennis's fault, David Thorpe, big fuck yous to you, bro. That's all I got to say on that. And thank you, Monique, for bringing it up. I have an opinion on that, just like he has stupid opinions on what he thinks. Well, my opinion is you got a vendetta with Masai, and Ed Rogers is all too happy to give you a microphone to fucking say your stupid shit in. Yeah, there you go. There you go, motherfucker. Yeah, G saying Porter may be him. No joke, guys. He has a Joker style of play. Very, very high IQ and patient. Yeah, G was in there watching him real closely last night, too. I'm telling you, the Raptor Freak family is strong in the 905 chats right now. And yeah, G very much there talking him up. And yeah, we saw a lot of good things from him yesterday. Multiple different things. It's not like he's very one-dimensional. This guy's got a lot of tricks in his bag. And he did all of them very well last night. There was some little moves like near the basket, not just shooting outside. He's got 3 levels of play. He's got mid-range, he's got outside, and he's got near the basket. And that's what I like. Chris is saying Green is not playing basketball now. It's sad, but he seems slightly disturbed. Nurkic said he needs mental help. I agree. I don't even understand what you're saying. Draymond Green is not playing basketball right now. He's playing though. What are you seeing? He's WWE. Is that what's going on? Julian's saying shocked that Draymond is still in the NBA. He has a lot of people that are protecting him and putting him in the league still. He's been encouraged by the league. He's a part of their broadcast crew when he's not playing. In some ways, he got a really weird status in the league. It's almost like they took Dennis Rodman of this time and said, you know what? We like you half the time, but we hate you half the time. We're going to give you fines and we're going to throw you out of games and get mad at you. But you know what? You're great on TV. And we're going to put you on TV, Dennis. Yeah. Can you come on and be an analyst with Shaq and all them? And it's really fucked up how they're treating him and how special he gets treated. He can cuss and do all this other shit extra that most players can't do in the league. People are getting thrown out left and right. Meanwhile, Draymond has a lot more that he can push around before he actually gets in trouble. So yeah, it's a really messed up thing, whatever it is. In some ways, like everybody that's older in this league, like LeBron, Kevin, Draymond, Steph, Clay, they're all going to be gone at some point in the next couple of years. And then, it'll be different. It'll be a lot different without Draymond and Kevin Durant and LeBron James in this league. It'll be a lot different at that point, honestly. Stargate saying, can't hurt to call up Jonte. Give him a chance. I'm all about it. Seriously, you're getting a unanimous votes from the Raptor Freak family on this Raptors organization. If you really want to come test the water with us, we think Porter's really, you got, like I said, he's got that ball of lightning right now. You want to get that ball of lightning going on your team on the higher level, get him up today and on the team for Atlanta tonight. Seriously, do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. G saying Noel too. Wow, his passing is elite. He knows when to shoot. He is a true point guard. Noel was awesome. It's crazy because he had that one pass underneath the basket, G, in the game last night where the defender's right up on him, but he just does a wraparound pass around the side of the guy. It's almost like he can't see where the other guy on his team is. And it goes right around him, and it's perfect. It's like right into Mohamedou Gui's hands. And all he has to do is just throw it in. It's like so easy. That's what I'm saying. A real point guard makes the other person finishing the assist so easy so they can't fuck it up. That's what I'm saying. Silver platter theory. And Marquise Noel has a silver platter. Oh, yeah, he does. And I want to see more of the guys like Scotty have a more silver platter kind of passing style where they're really letting it to the other guy in a way they can't fuck it up. There's no way they turn it over, and it's just an instant bucket, and you're getting the assist, Scott. So you could learn a lot from little Marquise. I'm telling you right now, every single player around you, Scotty Barnes, has a lesson for you to learn. And with your aptitude and your amazing all-around greatness, you can learn the little things that Marquise does and learn from him. I'm serious. He may be way shorter than you, and you may be, but this is the wise man in you. If you're wise, you will listen to him and get tips from him on how he passes, because that will make you a better point guard. Scotty, if you listen to Marquise, if you lower your ego and you go listen to that 5'6" young man, because he can teach you how to be a better point guard. I'm telling you right now, you do that, Scott, you're going to get better if you go listen to Noel. Seriously, just let your guard down with your ego and just allow it and go listen to Marquise. He can make you a better passer. Seriously. All right, let's keep going. G saying, anyone who couldn't watch the 905 game yesterday, it's worth the watch. It was showtime. Yeah. Yeah. I think they still have it up. You can go back and watch it. And if you can see the live chat, you'll see us in there talking. If you can watch the replay on the chat at the same time. David's here. Good to see. Great Raptor freak. David Saborn, a huge benefactor to this channel and somebody that I really love and respect. David's saying, we do worse when the stars on the other team sit out. Give us that little mouse. Yeah, we want the mouse in the house so Scotty can go and post up on him. Yeah, I'm with you on this. It's not that when I do the injury report that I'm hoping that more guys are out or something. Sure, in some ways it will help in some cases where we need just a little bit of an advantage because we're in a bad place. But most of the time, we do want to play the best that the other team has to offer in the full healthy roster, because that's the best way to test what we're going to do in like later times, possibly in the playoffs or games that count. So yeah, we're not ever wanting injured players on the other team. We want to play their best team. That's usually the right case and the right way to be. But I have to give you the information about who's listed so we can understand who might or might not be there. Let's see. Fiercely saying, in reference to the bathtub conversation about bathing yesterday, it has to do with high blood pressure. When you're riled up and get bad news, it can cause you to collapse in the shower and bath. Not a scientific fact. My mom and grandma told me it could happen. Interesting childhood stories. I would think that the water, if it's the right temperature and it soothes you and maybe calms you down, because it always seems like that's what people do to kind of like wash off like stress or something like that. But that's interesting that your mom and grandma told you that. I mean, there may be some truth to that. It may be dependent on how worked up the person is. Monique is saying, Chris is day to day, and you were nagging at me the way he walked off the court. Didn't look pretty, but hope he finds energy to play. Well, it's just that normally a bruise is not a long-term injury. Now, it is usually a one or two game absence. So he shouldn't be out for that long. It's only because you said pray for Chris. I'm like, why are we praying for him? He didn't break his neck or his arm or anything. He got kneed in the leg, and he's got a huge bruise in his leg. So I just thought that was a little bit over dramatic to say pray for him because he's fine. It's just he's got a bruise on his leg. I would say pray for Mohamedou Guy when that happened, that is more like an injury that, like, holy crap, let's pray for him, because that's a neck injury and that has to do with that. So in some ways, that's another expertise area I have. I really pay attention to injuries, and I kind of understand how long they take for people to get over them and how quickly they can get back and stuff like that. And in some ways, I could see him sitting tonight, but don't be surprised if he plays tonight, actually, because in some ways he could play tonight. He very much could. It's really how he feels and whether the bruise is actually hurting his mobility and how his leg feels. It could very well be that he's like, I'm fine. I want to play tonight. So we'll see. It's not nagging either, Mo. I just thought you were being over dramatic when you said pray for him. That's all. G saying, hot fiercely, haha, the bath will be the new code for a bad loss. Yeah, I don't know about that. That whole bathing thing that happened yesterday was just a misspelling by you, right? So it's like, we can leave it alone. That was yesterday's fun. I don't want to continue with the bathing stuff, I guess. Let's see. Kareem saying, I feel bad for Gary. He's having a Duncan Robinson type of a slump. And sadly, this could be the whole season. Only difference with Duncan and Gary is that Duncan got paid and Gary is in a contract year. Yeah, listen, Gary is Gary. And in some ways, I commend him for opting in and being with us this year. But this is the thing. This is all on him. He's got to get healthy and he's got to get playing in good production. And when that happens, in some ways, if he gets some DMPs right now just to heal his foot a little bit better, we would not be upset with that. If he's playing on the hurt foot and it's not helping, he's not healing fast enough, just take the DMPs for a brief period and get just a little bit better and healthier, right? Because I swear he's playing hurt right now. And in some ways, I know that Darko values him making shots and helping us in that way, but he's not making shots because he's hurt, and it's waste. So in some ways, if he needs to take a night off, bench him for one night just so he can get his foot healthier or something. I don't know. I'm sure he's hurt. The free throw missing is exactly what it pretends to. Like if I see him missing free throws, that's not normal for him. He was like a 90% free throw shooter last year. And he's shooting 56% at the free throw line right now. Something's wrong with him. And it's physical. It's physical. Let's see. G saying Porter credited the Canadian Air. He's a smooth operator off and on the court. Okay, Sade. Smooth operator. Coast to coast, LA to Chicago, West Indies. No, he's cool. I like that he said that. I can see that. I know the difference between the air in Canada and down south is that we have way more trees up here. We have way less pollution. And it's true. The air up here is nice and cool and it's like refreshing. And there's something to it. It could very well be true. And he's so sensitive to his body. He's reading the capillaries in his lungs are filling it with Canadian air. And it's buoying him to such substantial stat lines. Yeah, I like that, G. I like that. Carlos here. Well, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Carlo. And David's saying, so what you're saying is that Curry isn't the issue. Rather, we had injury problems and sucks. So is Curry okay as the coach then? No, he's still not okay as the coach. It was a couple of different problems, David. No, the injuries did matter, and they really did help us to lose a lot. But Eric Curry's still a shitty coach. He's still a shitty coach. Like in some ways, all right, look, Jonte said something nice about him in the interview after the game. He said, Eric Curry has made it so easy for me. He's made me feel no pressure. He's made me feel really comfortable. He's helped me come in. So maybe he's good in this aspect as keeping guys calm and stuff like that. I don't know. To me, it's just the ingredients of like respect. Who respects him? Do people respect him? I don't know if they do. Do referees respect him? Do the other coaches and players respect him? Do his own players respect him? I don't know if they do. In some ways, I don't respect him, and that's part of the problem. So I just wish that he was more in the archetype of a head coach and not such a mousy office PhD guy. In some ways, I want to see him just be a shit disturber. I want to see him throw a fucking chair. I want to see him really care. And then I'll be like, all right, yeah, this dude is cool. Yeah, he actually is a fiery guy and has an anger and a passion. In some ways, that's all I'm wanting from him. In some ways, I feel like he's just too mousy. And I want him to show some fire is what I want. So, Eric, you could do this. If you get ejected in one of the 905 games coming up and you really make some shit disturbed, I will be more likely to stand up for you and say something. Because right now, I just see this guy scratching his head and kind of, this kind of body language. I'm like, well, who the fuck is this guy leading our team, David? Seriously. Wayne's saying Porter is a good decision considering Grady is inconsistent. with his shooting, even in the G League. Can't hurt testing him. Porter's a great decision because of Koloko. Porter's a great decision because of our horrible three-point shooting. Porter is a great decision because we need another big. And that is it right there. He's a center, and he can actually come up and play the center minutes instead of Precious. So he could help Precious too, as far as like if we could get him up and let him play some Koloko minutes that Koloko would have been taken if he was available. So that's where I really see it, is like he's a replacement for Koloko while Koloko isn't available to play. Let's see. Cool Cat saying it. Kareem Thomas, Gary, and Norm. Sure, we could use Norm. Gary has had injury, illness every year during his time with us. Poor guy. He really loves Toronto too. Well, the story is not totally written on what's going to happen yet. That's the thing, y'all. Y'all got to allow for crazy stuff to happen all of a sudden. Like Gary goes off for 5 games and he's a badass. And then all of a sudden we are investing in him and he's still on the team. We can't act like we've made any decisions yet on anything with any of these guys. In fact, that's why we're still in this position of figuring it all out. So don't count out Gary in the 12th hour thing. If anybody can get hot all of a sudden and make a good case for us to try and retain him on a very short time limit, even with all this bad stuff, it's Gary Trent Jr. So let's just see how it goes. We take it more moment by moment, stay present, and let's see what happens. It could very well be that Gary's in our future still. We can't get ahead of ourselves. Everything is still being decided. So we'll have to see. Some people say, you're crazy. Why would we invest in him if he's so erratic and so bad like this? Well, let's see what they decide. Once again, we're not the ones making the decisions. And let's not send Gary out of our minds already because nothing's been decided yet. He could very well be a Raptor for years to come still. So we'll see. Monique is saying, all right, hang on. It jumped right when I was going to read Monique's next comment. Let me make sure I get it. Good to see so many different people here this morning. It's awesome. All right, let's see. She's saying Eric still sucks, David. Yeah, I'm with her. I'm going to give her a dunk for that because she's right. She's right. He does still suck. Let's see. I really want him out. Not joking. Yeah, I think we're just going to have to wait till next year, Monique. I seriously do. I think we're just going to have to wait till next year. Let him do the rest of this. And now, if he has a badass regular season next year, I'll be proud of him. I'll be like, all right, Eric, you turned it around in the second part of the G League season, and you got a winning record, and we did something. We got in the playoffs. We played almost, or we got the G League championship. I'll be like, all right, he redeemed himself. So there is a path of redemption for Eric Curry also right now, much like Gary Trent Jr. So let's not count our guys out yet. As much as I'm kind of like on Eric Curry, I still want to see him succeed, and I still want to see the 905 win. Now, he's going to be done either way. So then we just got to get through the rest of this year with Eric, and then you won't have to see him coach anymore. Trust me. David's saying, all right, Mo, let's go down there tomorrow and fire his ass. Let's see. David is like, all right, all of a sudden, did you buy stocks in Bell and MLSE? All of a sudden, David's like a part shareholder. And he's like, I have a shareholder and I can fire people now. That'd be so crazy if David did that. Like he bought a huge chunk of like ownership in the team and he started throwing his weight all of a sudden. He's like, yes, this is Monique. She's the new GM of 905. Get the fuck out of here, Luke Wynn. You know, that would be awesome if David did that. I don't know if David has the means to do that. Buy a share and become like a big weight. Throw your weight around down there, David. That's awesome. G saying, good point. Underdogs making others look bad will push them. They have no excuse if an underdog, smaller player can make no excuses. It's a huge effect that Fred had on our franchise when he was coming up through the ranks, that it really did push Kyle and Corey Joseph very strongly at that point, that they knew Fred could take their time, and it made everybody else in some ways play better around it. And that's why we need the development to come from that level at that. And that's why I think Marquise is so badass, because he could do this again. He has all the right ingredients of it. And I think this is part of the reason why they went and got him, with the shades of him being like Fred VanVleet, because they want to kind of mimic what Fred's effect was on our franchise way back when he came in first at that time right now. And I'm all about it. Jillian saying, Lex, you saw Mr. Will Lew's bong smoking photo on Twitter while referring to covering the Raptors. I asked Sportsnet about it. No response. I have not seen any bong smoking photo of Will Lew, but that's interesting. I don't know. I can't comment on it because I don't know about it. But if they're jokes and they're joking around on there, and if Sportsnet is inferring marijuana use, you know, whatever. I don't know. I have to find out more about it, Jillian, but that's interesting. That's interesting. I'd say he was smoking something to put David Thorpe on yesterday. Carlos saying Curry is probably an okay coach. He'll win with a good lineup. Laugh out loud. All right. Well, I'll say from last year, I know he's not a good coach from last year, is what it is. There's a lot of things like in games where you have to like stand up for yourself, whether it's like with the referees, like getting your right calls, whether it's just like telling the players to play harder. In some ways, you can't be a pushover. And at times, I've seen him fold, like just body language wise, when he's talking to the refs, he doesn't get mad enough or demonstrative enough when arguing his points with them. Quite often he just loses and he just rolls over. In some ways, I just wanted the shit to hit the fan and see him just go crazy with like anger or something like that against the refs. In some ways, that would make me know that he really, really cares and he does have another side to him that I was not aware of. And that's part of it right there. Stargate saying the Warriors are not playing well, just like us. Clay was on the bench in crunch time last night. Interesting. See, in some ways, Klay Thompson's year may be a little similar to Gary Trent Jr.'s year right now. That's the other thing, too. We've mirrored the Warriors so much in the last 5 years since we played them in the finals. It really has, their franchise has had the same ups and downs as us. And in some ways, do people come at the Warriors franchise and say all the stupid shit that they say about the Raptors right now? No, they don't. Maybe they do over there around Golden State. It's a dumpster fire. But overall in the NBA, the way they look at the Warriors as still a top team is unfair. And it shows you just the bias. In some ways, they have been the same as us. They've had the worst years also. They had a really bad year where they missed the playoffs when we missed everything in Tampa. And they've had a mid-year last year when we had a mid-year last year. They have a similar record in the same position in the Western Conference as we do right now in the Eastern Conference. And in some ways, you see the way they treat the Warriors and the way they treat the Raptors, and they should be treating us equally, but they don't. They give them more prestige and all this stuff. And partly it's because of Steph and Draymond and them. And part of it is because they are a dynasty and they have multiple championships. But in a lot of ways, their team has been exactly like ours in the last couple of years on the down low. And everything that they say about us, they should be fucking saying about them too, is what I would say on that. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. Let's see. Carlos saying Dennis and Darko. Laugh out loud. They're scapegoats right now for Pensair and fucking Thorpe and fucking idiots right now that just want to point a finger. No, it's not the coach and Dennis. It's the overall effort and unprofessionalism of the Raptors in general. And they need to show up professionally. And they're even saying that themselves. It's like, look, we need to be more professional. We need to take this more seriously. Pascal, Scotty, OG, Jakob, Dennis, all of them are saying the same thing. And they're not pointing fingers at each other. It's not like Scotty thinks it's Dennis's fault we're losing just because Pensair said it. No, Scotty understands how good Dennis is. And this is the thing. Once again, these people that love Scotty so much and think they're doing things for Scotty to help him, you're not. You're doing things to hurt Scotty when you do this shit. You honestly do. You hurt Scotty last year with all your bullshit against Fred and shit like that. You hurt him when you did that. You did not help Scott. Y'all that think you're doing good things to help your hero, Scotty, you're not. You're making it worse. So just chill. Be a good fan and cheer for your team and don't have any designs on getting people out of the way to hurt Scott because you think they're hurting Scotty's game. That's bullshit. These guys are helping Scotty's game. And I'm just sick of hearing that story. This is the same stupid story y'all been telling all last year, and you're doing it again this year. If it's not Pascal taken away from Scotty, it's Dennis and Darko. Fuck y'all with your bullshit. The whole world does not revolve around Scotty, even if he's the best player in the damn world. It's still got to be done the right way. And Scotty has no problem with any of his teammates at this point. I'm really sure he doesn't. So, yeah, let's keep going. Jillian saying at Cool Cat, Norm Powell, he was such a good player and he didn't want to leave us either. Yeah, he's about to get paid and we didn't want to invest that money in him. So we made a trade for a younger player that we could pay less, that we could do similar output. And it was absolutely the right move at that time. And I wouldn't look back and change anything at this point. I love Norman. Norman had his time with us. He had a very good Raptors career. And honestly, the past is the past. You got to let it go. Gary was our younger upgrade, and he was an upgrade to me in a lot of ways. Now, he's a little inconsistent right now, but we know Norman could be inconsistent in his career also. So, we can't go back and change it. Click saying the problem with the team is the way it's structured. It falls on Masai and Bobby. In some ways, this is true, Click. I'm actually going to start saying in some ways the problem is the roster and who the guys are together, but it's not as big a problem as everybody thinks it is. Y'all think it's like the whole roster's fucked up, but no, it's really like we need to make a couple of moves, maybe send two or three guys or one or two guys out of the team and get different guys that may make it more conducive. In some ways, having it the way it is right now, we're still really super flexible and we can tinker with it. Just little changes. We trade like somebody in the very soon near future. 12-15 is when they start be able to trade, and you'll see that it could be like just a minor tweak, and then all of a sudden it's like it's working way better. I don't know which player or what deal or who they bring in to make it better from the other side of the deal, and who goes out that's kind of helping to clear things up. I don't know who it is specifically, and I'm not going to talk about who it should be. I'm just going to wait and see Bobby and Masai make that decision and do that deal, and hopefully it all works out perfectly and it makes a lot of sense. And some people will get off their back about like them, how they raid the roster if it starts falling into place with just minor changes. Seriously, minor changes. Now, I don't think it's their fault. In some ways, they had the idea of it and they thought in theory it would work. But everything in this world isn't 100% slam dunk for sure going to work. You could have a great idea in your head and you start to do it and you're like, oh man, this isn't actually working exactly right. This is kind of what this is. And you can't get mad at them for being creative and trying to do something different than the rest of the league. In some ways, that's how you can innovate and get an edge on the rest of the league, by not doing exactly what everybody else is. I think that they're in a position of power and strength still because they have some very good players they can trade, and hopefully they can switch it and fine tune it in the right way. I believe in them knowing how to build a team correctly because look at what they fucking did in 2019. They had it exactly right. And they had all kinds of different smart things, like even the upgrade from Jonas to Marc Gasol. That's what I'm saying. So trust in Masai. Understand it may be muddled and not totally fitting exactly right now, but you switch one puzzle piece and you put the other puzzle pieces in, and boom, it may work miraculously super well all of a sudden like that. And it won't take as much movement or change as everybody thinks it will. Watch. G saying Darko did say he would give it 1 or 2 games and may be open to changes in the starting lineups. Interesting. Yeah, Ed Rogers probably pays Thorpe. Yeah, he's probably like, this guy has an extra grind with Masai. I love to put him on. He has some credibility because of his linkages to Masai from before. I'm sure Masai Ujiri hates David Thorpe at this point, that he's just annoying and he's really bugging him. You know that Masai and Bobby and everybody in the Raptors organization is very quiet and mum. So they don't like him blabbing and talking like this. I'm sure they don't. And that David Thorpe is not Masai's friend at this point. And so I'm sure that Masai is very much not happy with him, especially since he's circled back and done a very similar thing to what he did last year. And it was not helpful last year. Even if he was right to a degree about some of the things he was saying last year about Nick and Fred, it's still not helpful. And airing our business out in public in certain ways like that is not helpful, because in some ways you feed the fire of the idiots in our fan nation that just have really crazy ideas about things, and you make them feel like they're bona fide. I think that's all part of the plan that Ed Rogers III has. He wants y'all to mistrust and hate Masai because you think that he's wasting our time and he's running this team wrong. Well, that's lies. He's running this team as best as he can right now with this situation. If we had a subpar or ordinary GM in front office, our team would be so much worse right now. And I don't think people understand that or realize that he is part of the reason why we continue to still be relevant in certain ways. Now, we're not as relevant right now, but if we want to be relevant again, we need Masai to continue to still lead us. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I heard Darko say this, that he's considering changing the starting lineup to help with the issues. If the things don't get better, if we do lose to Atlanta 2 games in a row right now, I would see maybe he does change the starting lineup, but he may not change it in the way y'all think. Y'all just think, oh, he's going to take Dennis out of the starting lineup if he changes the starting lineup. He said he can change it all kinds of different ways, and it won't be up to y'all to determine how he changes the starting lineup. The coach knows best because it's his team. And so we'll see. He did say he's open to it, so it could happen. It could happen. Carlos saying Thorpe admitted that he doesn't even watch much Raptor ball. Like, he said that in the interview. So how the fuck is he supposed to tell us what's wrong with us if he doesn't watch us? That's what I'm saying. One thing is like, look, what do we say on this channel? Listen to the players and the coaches and Masai and the people that are involved straight from their mouths. Don't listen to it from the media people and their spin and how their opinions going. And then the other thing is you trust your own eyes. We watch so much of the games ourselves. You guys are watching the Raptors games, the Raptors 905 games. You see it for yourselves. You probably have a better judgment and opinion on what the Raptors are wrong with them and what's going on with them than David Thorpe if he isn't watching. So seriously, y'all are smart basketball fans. You guys give me such great comments and observations and points all the time that in some ways, do you need David Thorpe to tell you what's wrong with the Raptors? No, you don't, because you can see it with your own two eyes, and we can come in here in the morning and work it out all together. In some ways, it's like, okay, you're going to tell us you don't watch the team, but you're going to tell us what's wrong with us? Okay, fuck off. Fuck off. That's all I got to say on that. Let's see. Carlos saying Thorpe also criticized Darko, saying his schemes don't fit the roster. Well, isn't that the same shit he was saying about Nick last year too? Listen, he obviously has an axe to grind with Masai, because Masai didn't turn around and wash that other hand. It's like David Thorpe helped him break into the NBA and got him his first job as a scout. And I guess since Masai's ascended to being a vice president, chairman of basketball here in Toronto for the Raptors, and he's like, hey, Masai, you want to give me a job now that you're big time? No. And he's like, I'm sorry, David, but you're toxic and you're kind of an idiot. So no, I will not be giving you a job. Fuck you, Masai. I'm going to hurt you in other ways. It could be very well that kind of shit. That this guy thinks that he's owed something by Masai Ujiri because he helped him early on in his career. And Masai ain't reciprocating. So he's going to reciprocate with some bullshit on Ed Rogers' channel. Seriously, it's just as simple as that, is the way I look at it. G saying when the Raptors lose, the default is to blame the point guard, then the coach. That is lazy analysis. They are last in 3-point shooting in the league and 28th in free throws. Let's start there. Boom, goes the dynamite. And G's getting a dunk because he's exactly right. Our shooting woes are our hugest problem with our team right now. They really is. It really, really is. We make our shots. A lot of these games are wins for us. We could just make our fucking shots. So in some ways, I blame all the shooters on our team. They're supposed to be shooters that aren't showing up and doing their job is what I'll blame first. G saying they are not defending the three well. There's something else the entire team needs to fix. Blaming one player is very lazy. Yeah, in some ways, that's the scapegoating that other teams want people to do, to pick it apart. And then you get in their heads and they start getting all. See, Dennis is unfuckwithable. This is the thing that they don't understand. You guys can try and fuck with Dennis all you want. It won't be like Fred. In some ways, y'all could fuck with Fred, but you can't fuck with Dennis because Dennis has his family. Dennis knows what's important. Dennis trusts and believes in himself as a professional. And it doesn't matter how much slander or bullshit is out there. He knows the truth about himself. And that's all that matters. And you know what? Even if he loses his starting job and he starts coming off the bench, you know what? That's not going to phase him. He's unfuckwithable. He's going to start kicking ass for us off the bench just as much as he would for as a starter. Yeah, you guys are going to realize that. Y'all fucking with Dennis, you're going to find out he's unfuckwithable. And he's going to fucking do what he does for our team and be badass and excellent for our team, whether he's starting or off the bench, y'all. So, yeah, that's a great thing. Y'all can try and get in his head. All you trolls out there acting like Raptors fans, trying to plant the seeds to fuck with Dennis. Yeah, he's unfuckwithable. You can't shake him. He's got his children and his wife, and that's the baseline of all of his happiness in the world. And it doesn't matter. He'll get it right on the court, and he'll do it in a pro-like way, and he will overcome all this shit in the end. Watch. If he does get put to the bench, I'm not worried about him because he's going to kick ass as off the bench also because he can. I know he can. He can play off the bench or start. That's the luxury of having a Dennis Schroeder on your team, is that he can play from both the backup and the starting point guard roles. And I'm so for it. I'm so for it. Let's go. Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. Great game by the 905. My 3 stars, Porter, Noel, and O'Banner. Best game of the season so far, by far. Infamous, enjoyable game, blowing them out, double-digit leads for 905, and just good stuff. And it doesn't hurt that it's the Sixers G League team. We have 2 victories in the 905 with the G League, and they're against the Maine Celtics and the Delaware Bluecoats, the Sixers and the Celtics teams. And we're going to get another chance to put another L on the Delaware Bluecoats on Thursday, tomorrow. Yeah, I love it too, Infamous. Awesome game. Mugabe is saying, good Raptors, freaks. If Masai blames Pascal for being selfish when Pascal proves he is far from selfish, why can't we blame the coach in the front office? I don't think the front office blamed Pascal specifically for being selfish. Once again, we went over this, Mugabe, at the beginning of the season. The system that Nick Nurse implemented for the team last year had Siakam and Van Vliet playing selfishly because he wanted them to. And they're good soldiers. They listen to their general. And that's all it was. It's not that Siakam's a selfish player. It's Nick Nurse wanted him to play very selfish in an isolation scheme, which didn't really feed anybody else. So the selfishness that Masai talked about was really the game plan of Nick Nurse that's out the window. And that's the difference. Now, Darko is very much unselfish with the whole scheme, and he's very happy with Siakam playing unselfishly within his unselfish system. Now, a lot of fans are criticizing the unselfish system because they want people to be selfish at this point, and they feel like certain players need to be scoring more than others. So that's really a big part of it right there, Mugabe. It's not that Siakam was pointed out as being selfish. The whole system was selfish under Nick Nurse last year. And everybody understands this. Nobody's pointing fingers at Masai and from Masai at Pascal saying, "Oh, you're selfish." No, nobody believes that at this point. Siakam has beat the allegations of being a selfish player. He's already beaten that. He's played so well this year in a very, very free-flowing offense where everybody's passing each other every which way, and he's done great. In fact, Siakam has averaged 5 assists a game for the last couple of years. It's not like he's been unselfish this whole time. It's the system that was selfish, and that's what it was. Randolph saying, Lex, he who shall not be named has doubled down on his Raptors are wasting Scotty's talent. I thought that team draft players for their team as long as they're possible. Whatever. He's going to be saying all kinds of nonsense. And in some ways, he's just a confusion agent at this point. Listen, Scotty, all right, is he Cade Cunningham getting wasted? Okay. Is Cade Cunningham getting wasted? Is Jalen Green getting wasted? Are these players that are around his place in the draft getting wasted in their other places? Listen, Panser's an idiot. He only thinks about right now, but he doesn't think about the long term. He doesn't think about how there is going to be ups and downs. He doesn't have a realistic view about how things go in franchises. And in some ways, once again, I will warn all of y'all that watch Panser. He's not a Raptors fan. He's a Scotty Barnes fan. He doesn't give a shit about what's good for the Toronto Raptors. He only gives a shit about what's good for Scotty Barnes. But in some ways, he doesn't even understand what's good for Scotty Barnes. And in fact, a lot of the things that he says on his channel, Scotty would be pissed at him for saying. I'm going to tell you that right now, that he would be like, who the fuck is this guy? And why is this guy making all these problems? If he even knew he existed, trust me. So, because listen, seriously, a lot of the things that he touts on that channel, Scotty would discredit him immediately if he got a chance to be involved in the conversation. It's like if we sat there and we had a podium and Scotty was the moderator in the middle and we had a debate. Me and fuckface, I would fucking say shit, and Scotty would be like, "Yes, Raptor Street, you're right, and he'd be like, "What the fuck are you trying to say over here?" Because that is not accurate. That's not true. You said that I didn't like Fred last year, and that's not true. I love Freddie, and I'm sad that he's gone. You're saying that Pascal's not good to play with me? No, I love playing with Pascal. Why are you trying to tell everybody that I shouldn't play with Pascal? What do you mean that the team's wasting my time? No, the team is building stuff around me, and I feel good about the direction of this team. I'm not tuning out. I'm not giving less effort. I'm not doing a Vince Carter because I feel like this team's wasting my time. No, that's you fucking making shit up and making it more difficult for me in my life, Robert. So fuck right off. Seriously, you're not a fan of me, the way you fucking talk about this team and the way you treat things, because honestly, I don't need you to be my fan if you're going to be fucking negative and destructive for things around this team like that. That's how Scotty would probably fucking deal with him. Seriously. That's the most ironic thing about Panser is that Scotty would probably disagree and hate everything he's fucking doing on his channel. That's the most hilarious thing about the whole thing. And everybody that follows him and listens to him, if you hear me today and you hear what I'm saying right now, know that that's the truth. That motherfucker will not be happy with what he's saying on that channel. None of it's helpful. It's not helpful what he's doing. So, yeah, let's keep going. Carlos saying he wasn't really blaming Pascal, though. He said this previous system was selfish. That's right. Carlos saying the right thing. And Carlos saying, I swear, fans lack comprehension. Yeah, it's just common sense. And think about it. Mugabe, listen, Mugabe means well. It's not that he's just standing up for Siakam. He's standing up for Siakam. Infamous is saying, I have no issue with Draymond. The old heads keep saying the league is soft, me excluded. He's just playing like an old school player. Y'all can't have it both ways. You know what? It's interesting because you're right. And in some ways, there is an aspect about Draymond that you're exactly right that I do respect. But the problem is with Draymond, if you watch his mixtape of violence that was made recently and put out, he's doing very serious things to people where he could end their injuries in careers, giving them injuries that could end their careers. That's what I'm saying. Some of the dirty shit that he does is so dirty and dangerous. He could end somebody's career in the NBA. And that's why I worry about him in some ways. So this is one thing to be a Dennis Rodman thug and tough and all this stuff, but he's not doing stuff that could actually hurt someone that could put them out forever. That's why I have a problem with Draymond. He's done some overly dirty shit that's super dangerous for other guys' careers. And there's a middle ground. He can be that type of style of player, but in some ways he needs to be more WWF and not really actually trying to hurt people because he is actually hurting people. That's the thing. He's actually hurting. He can actually hurt people. Let's see. Mugabe saying nothing can hold back Scotty from being one of the best, only his ego, and that could be his downfall. This is exactly right. And I'm going to give Mugabe a dunk because he's exactly right. Scotty is the only person who will hold him back. It's not anybody on his team around him. It would be him not listening and being too proud and saying, I already know everything. That's what's going to hurt him and hold him back. It's not the other players. He's the type of player that should be able to be, you just add him to whatever and he just kicks ass and all that kind. If he's so versatile and he's so great all around, it doesn't matter who's around him. He should fit with every single fucking team he's on. That's why I have a problem with this like idea that, oh, it's the other people around him. No, if Scotty's so versatile and so all around good player, he should fit with everyone. That's what I'm saying. You put Magic Johnson on any team, he fits with everyone. You put Michael Jordan on a team with that, he fits with everyone. Larry Bird, he fits with everyone. LeBron James, he fits with everyone. Scotty should fit with everyone. And Mugabe has one of the best comments today in what he just said right there. Carlos saying, laugh out loud. Draymond literally punched Nurk for guarding him. Nothing old school about that, though. No, they used to do that back in the day. I mean, Kareem punched Larry Bird in the face. There's a lot of punching in people's faces back in the day, but they quit that after like a really ugly, violent incident with Kermit Washington and Rudy Tomjanovich in a Lakers Rockets game once, where he broke Tomjanovich's face, and it was very brutally gross and ugly and blood everywhere. They had to start stopping the fights with the fists because they realized they got 6'8", 9" guys that are over 250 pounds punching each other. It's not going to look good because damage could really be happening. But yeah, that is really old school. That's like 70s old school, the punching to the face. Yeah. G saying the league wanted Mobley to win the Rookie of the Year. Once the Raptors leap to the 5th seed is when Scotty won. This will help him make a ton of money and has put him on the map. How the fuck are they wasting this time? Yeah, they're not. He's gotten elite this year. It's just that Pensera never wanted him here in Toronto. You guys got to realize this. He's not a Raptors fan. He's a Scotty Barnes fan that wants to get him back in the States. In fact, he may be paid by the State Department of the United States to make up bullshit propaganda to try and direct Scotty back. And it's a long-term game he's playing here. He wants to dislodge him from our team. And a very direct way to say it is the Raptors are wasting his talent and he should just be traded. He just tells us exactly who he is very easily. You just got to see through him and see what his motives are. In some ways, his motive is to dislodge Scotty from our teams. Does that make you hate him? Yeah, it should. It's part of the reason why I hate him is because he ultimately wants that goal. He really does. And some of the ways he had to get Fred off the team, that was one of his first jobs, and get Nick. And he did both of them to a degree, helping with the propaganda war that happened. In some ways, you want to continue to help him do his work by doing more and echoing him and listening to him and following him. Fuck you. Because you may be part of the reason why stupid shit happens later down the road with Scotty then. Listen, Scotty's super happy in Toronto, and in some ways, he's got an uphill battle. Fuckface McPencer. And this is the thing. I don't want y'all to help him. Help me in fighting against that fight and keeping Scotty in a Toronto Raptors jersey. Because Fuckface is very much anti-Scotty being on the Raptors, obviously. If he's going to say shit like what he's saying right now, well, let's put it out there. Anybody who's following him, you realize that he doesn't want him to play for your team. He doesn't want Scotty on the Raptors. That's ultimately his long-term goal. Let's see. Jillian saying, Mugabe, Carlos is right. Masai didn't blame Pascal for anything. He didn't directly blame him. He just said the team couldn't be selfish. Siakam felt a little self-conscious, and he felt like he needed to defend himself in that. as a figurehead, a top player from last year who was getting a lot of the touches, and the press were kind of projecting it onto him. And he said, "Look, you know me, I'm not a selfish guy. I play however the way the coach wants me to, and I'm always looking for my teammates and stuff like that. I'm not selfish," is what Siakam said at the very first press conference at media day, and he isn't. I believe him. Let's see. G saying that is a very ungrateful perspective. Wow. That team worked to the best of their abilities to get the 5th seed, helping him secure the Rookie of the Year. The team could have been the Pistons. Exactly. Yeah, whatever fuckface Pensar idiot is saying right now, just know why. Know why. And people that follow him, please, like, understand this. The more of you understand what his true motives are, leave him. Seriously, if you're a real Raptors fan, you don't want to see Scotty leave our team. And that's what he wants. Carlos saying, yeah, very ungrateful perspective indeed. Scotty was a no-level scorer when he came in the league, and the Raptors did tons for him by developing him offensively and giving him heavy minutes. You know what? He understands that. Scotty Barnes himself understands what you're saying, Carlo. It's Pensar that's stupid and doesn't understand this and has his own narratives and projections of what he wants to do. That's the thing. I'll keep telling everybody. What Pensar says is not what Scotty wants. Scotty wants what he wants, and that's to be successful on the Raptors, to continue to grow, get a huge contract, and be a badass. And he very much trusts and loves his GM, Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster. And there's nothing wrong with what's going on with Scott. Scott is not unhappy. First of all, that's one thing. Even though they're losing right now, he's not unhappy right now. He's very much taking the challenge of trying to right the ship this year with his teammates and to kick some more ass. So the thing is, Robert Pensar is way off with his shit, and so is David Thorpe. Let's just put it that way. All right, let's keep going. Cool Cat saying Pascal got slammed in the media for all kinds of stuff, but that's the nature of the beast when you're at the top. Scotty will be the next to get slammed, and the beast will keep on roaring. Yeah, it's just a toxic ass media run by somebody who owns the team that actually hates the person running the team. It's really a fucked up situation. So you got to understand, anything Rodgers anti-Raptors is very anti-Masai, and that's because of Ed Rodgers III. Yeah, you shouldn't have fucking told everybody you hated Masai so much. If you were doing this on the down low and we didn't know your animosity towards him, we wouldn't see through the veil of the lies and the shit you're doing with your channel, Sportsnet, you motherfucker. That's what I say, yeah. Monique saying, I'll bring the energy in the arena like every so often tonight. Right on, Monique. You go down there and bring the good energy as a super fan would and help the Raptors get that big W over Atlanta tonight. Mugabe is saying, when Masai was asked about Pascal's contracts, he said, I need to see how he plays before I make a decision. If anybody should know, Masai should know. Pascal is one that can work in any system. I really do hope we keep Siakam. I really, really do. I'm more in the camp of trading OG at this point. In some ways, I really, really want to keep Siakam badly. And it's just because all kinds of reasons. I've gone over him, and I'm very much big on keeping him. Let's see. Fiercey's laughing at G. Jillian is saying, let's see. Oh, it jumped. Hang it. Oh, David's giving subscriptions again. Awesome. That's really cool. No. Yeah, give me a cutoff right now because, all right, let's see. Where am I right now? David. And, okay, here we are. Jillian saying at Mugabe, Masai's not blaming Pascal. Rap's not necessarily paying for 3 forwards. Plus, they need playing pieces in general. Other teams have their playing pieces too. This is true. In some ways, we may need to give up a higher premium player to get more bit players that fill out the roster and have more depth with good quality bench players. I agree with this strategy, and I think it's right. And that's why I really like the Indiana trade I've been proposing with OG Anunoby for Buddy Hield, Mathurin, and Nebhard. If we could get that deal, that would be so badass. If we could make that line up, I would be all about it because I feel like it would be good for both sides. I think it'd be good for young OG too, even though I would be sad to say goodbye to him. I think he'd be happy to go back to Indiana, and I think that he'd be very rewarded with like being very welcome there and helpful to a team that lacks defense. So I don't know. Pacers Nation is okay and interested in this deal. They may not like the idea of parting with Mathurin and maybe tweaked a bit and may not be exactly what I'm proposing, but it's something that I would consider. Even with Buddy Hield's expiring contract this year, it gets a tryout to possibly be invested with us if it's a right fit. And then I would love just to straight up get a great backup point guard in Nebhard coming up in our system a little bit more to maybe press people like Dennis and Malachi and Marquise with a little bit more competition as in that area. And then, of course, getting a upgrade in some ways with a young, dynamic player that's coming up with Ben Mathurin, that'd be awesome. They're Canadians. And then also, Mathurin has a little bit of that spirit that we need as far as taking over shit and making shit happen at the end of games when it's close to help us win. In some ways, we see that gumption and dog in Ben Mathurin and the way he scores. I know that Indiana's probably not exactly liking my deal that I proposed, but I feel like it would really help both teams a lot. And if it lines up and Masai and Bobby can make it happen, I'd be all about that deal, Bobby and Masai. If you can get those 3 players for OG, oh my gosh. We'll have to see what's possible and realistic. Let's see. Carlos saying, Mugabe, that may have been said for negotiation talk. Are we really comfortable with giving Pascal a super max? Yeah, we're going to have to figure this all out. Once again, a lot of people are saying we don't envy Bobby and Masai and the decisions and the tough work they're going to have to do very soon. These are big decisions. They're going to have ramifications for the future, and they have to make sure they step in the right direction. So this is something you don't take lightly. This isn't something that some motherfucker sitting on a toilet with their phone on the NBA, ESPN trade machine can figure out how to do. No, there's a lot more to this, y'all. Cool Cat saying Pascal and OG's money in the league are secured. No need to fuss over it. They're valued in the league. Ignore all the chatter and just enjoy the now. Yeah, we just got to stay present. The team was going to morph and change in the near future, and we have to be ready for the change and accepting it and going forward, hopefully with a better team that's going to be more successful as time goes on. G saying he only gets Supermax if he makes All NBA. Chances are he won't get All NBA unless they start winning. Then he has an amazing year. So reality right now is max, anyways. I think that's more likely, honestly. In some ways, some people are saying, well, the Raptors are holding him back by not playing him as heavy as Nick last year to do that. It could be very well that Nick was trying to sell us with a bunch of Supermax by getting Fred and Pascal's value out the roof. And you see what happened with Fred. And in some ways, that's why he overplayed the hell out of them because he really wanted to get them paid. And maybe in some ways on the download, trying to make a headache for Bobby and Masai. Well, Darko in some ways is being more egalitarian. And in some ways, Siakam, we're not winning and he's not so paramount on our team. It is less likely he's going to make All NBA and qualify for the Supermax. I don't know. It's not that the team is trying to do some shady shit to him. It's just that in some ways, the team has to do what's right for the team and not necessarily what's right for Scotty, what's right for Pascal as individuals. It's what's right for the whole team in general and what we're trying to do as a team forward. And we can't just like cater completely to people like Scotty and Pascal and ruin things for our whole team in the long run. So let's see. G saying he only gets, oh yeah, I already read that. Carlos saying Max is probably what he'll get. You know, he's got a ton of money already. I mean, sure, everybody wants to get as much money as possible in the short career of their career. But in some ways, like, look, if he can do Max, that may help our team and keep everybody together. And that may be something that he values. He may not value money as so much, so he has to get the super max, that he may be very happy getting the max and getting to stay in Toronto and to continue to still play with the guys he plays with now. David saying, I don't think no matter how hard I work or how successful I may be, I'll ever be in a position to own part of the team. I feel like I'd donate most of the money once it got to that level. Money is useless. Bam, David. There you go. In some ways, people that don't really want the power are the people who should be in power. That's what I've heard. People that lust for power are never the people that should be in power. The people that are kind of like, I don't know if I should be in charge, are the perfect people to be in charge because they are usually the ones that are most right with their decisions and they're not coming from selfish places. That's interesting, David. Hey, I know you do a good job, though, if you could be in that position. Carlos saying, so Curry doesn't have the passion. I feel like he has an underlying passion, but and to me, it's just like he seems too much of a pushover. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody you're like kind of like, yeah, you don't totally respect. And that's part of the problem is I look at him and I'm like, I don't respect this guy. It's like just an eye test. You could see somebody on the street and you'd be like, I don't respect that guy. I don't respect that guy. You know, you shouldn't be doing that in general. But in some ways, if you want to look at a power position like a coach, you want to see, well, does the players respect him? Do the refs respect him? And I don't know if he gets as much respect as, say, like a Nick Nurse would because of how he carries himself, you know? That's how I kind of look at it. Like Darko has a passion to him. He gets fiery, he frowns, he argues. And in some ways, I don't see it in Curry to the right level, is what it is. Mugabe saying at Carlo, if anyone deserves a max pay on this team, it's Pascal, 2 times All Star, 2 times NBA Most Improved, NBA champion, been in the league 8 years now, and earned every penny. All them superstars can't win. Shit, that's right. Mugabe's feisty today, and I agree with him. He does. I wouldn't be mad if he got a super max if he qualified, but he doesn't qualify for it yet. If he had gotten the All NBA last year, which he just missed out on, this would all be said and done. But in some ways, he has to still earn it. He has to qualify by making All NBA this year, and I don't think he's going to get All NBA this year. We're not a good enough team, and in some ways, he's not the man anymore on our team. Scotty's probably going to be starting or playing in the All-Star game, and Siakam's not going to be an All-Star this year. I'll bet you money. I'll bet you money on that. Carlos saying, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm saying those are just the negotiations. Yeah. Good clarification. Jillian saying at Mugabe, Pascal is so versatile. That's why he's good playing piece. I agree with that. Carlos saying, I mean, what the fuck does Thorpe want? Did have Malachi start? I don't know what he wants. He wants chaos. He wants confusion. He just wants to open his big mouth and say opinions which he doesn't have a basis for because he actually told on himself and said he doesn't actually watch. So yeah, it's just hot air. It's just stupid shit once again. Let's see. G saying none Raptors news. Someone broke into Steph's house when he was out with Aisha and the kids when we're with the nanny. He broke in to get an autograph. Okay, that's weird. That's a weird story. Mugabe saying at Carlo, look at it this way. All them fake fans that Lex talking about, Pascal is no good, but Luka, Booker, Tatum, Embiid, and they can't achieve what Pascal achieved, a championship. I agree with this. This is true. I don't think there's any argument here. Mugabe, we're all on the same page with you. We're not anti-Siakam, and we agree. You're exactly right. These other guys don't have championships. Siakam does. And he deserves the respect on a higher level than a Joel Embiid, a Jason Tatum, a Luka Doncic, all the other non-champions in the league. It's just the NBA doesn't treat him like that. And they should. They should. They should give Siakam more respect in some ways than Luka because he fucking won a championship already. I agree with you like on that for sure. Davis saying 4 likes, 30 watching. Smash the fucking like button, people. Carlos saying no one here is saying that Pascal isn't good enough. Yeah, that's kind of what I was just saying. This season is about who fits with the new system. Masai wants the system to be the new superstar. I'm with that. Scotty's the new superstar in the new system. Davis saying we're going to be above 500 anyway. You'll see. Yeah, I still think we're going to get up higher, and we're going to get above some of these teams in the Eastern Conference that are just above us right now. Trevor saying Raptors, it's like your father outside. Kids that his family does not like. That's how the NBA toxic fans treat us. Okay, I like that. I guess. Carlos saying, Lex, do you think Thorpe is undercover talk from Masai? He speaks twice a season, and then it happens. Last year, Nick, then gone. Darko and Dennis not playing through wings. Pascal to OKC with SGA and Chet. I don't think he's actually speaking for Masai because in some ways, this doesn't make sense that he'd come after a brand new coach hire that he's got and the point guard that he's just got too. These are fresh new moves that Masai and Bobby want to take and do well. So it's not in his best interest if he is a sideways mouthpiece for him to take down 2 of his latest things he's trying to do. It's almost like, okay, if we somehow, hopefully this never happens, that Darko loses his job at the end of the season, we get a new coach next year and a new point guard come in. Is David Thorpe going to come in and just talk shit about our new coach and our new point guard? And that's the pattern? That he's just coming in to take down Nick Nurse and Fred, Darko and Dennis, and then Coach C and a player C in the 3rd year. That's the pattern I'm seeing. This doesn't benefit Masai. So I know this has nothing to do with Masai wanting him to do this because this doesn't help him in the least. And once again, I'll say the Raptors are lip-sealed organization that anybody who's talking like this has got the frown of Masai, especially employees. Nobody who's working for them is talking. And a friend of his, he's not a friend, that he would be very pissed at him too for this. So no, I think that the theory that he is actually speaking for Masai on the outside, that doesn't make any sense because he's being damaging to, and he's putting more pressure on Masai. is basically what he's doing. That's why Brian Windhorst, the shit that he has an axe to grind with Masai, and he's making his life miserable and trying to make it harder for him. Mugabe saying that, Carlo, I know what you're saying. I'm not blaming you. I was just saying people don't know what we have in Pascal. He's good for Scotty. Yeah. Mugabe's making the case against the people that are anti-Pascal because they think he's hurting Scotty. And that's what he's trying to get across. I think we're all on the same page. It's just coming out of different directions. David's saying, what do you mean we? Aren't you a Knicks fan? That's interesting, Cool Cat. And let's see. I don't know. Is Mel Bester here? Are you talking about Knicks fan? I don't see him. Jillian saying, Mugabe, Pascal's here because we know his value. That's right. David saying, Mugabe, my bad. Wrong. Mel Bester is something's Knicks fan. Yeah, Mugabe's our dude in Calgary, in Alberta. He's in Alberta, and he's a great Canadian success story. He's an immigrant who came to Canada, and he made a life for himself. He's very proud of being a Canadian because this country gave him a good opportunity to have a great life. And we love Mugabe Lennon, a true Canadian success story. And somebody holding it down for Raptors Freak Nation in the middle of the country in Alberta. Yeah, Carlos saying Pascal's the only player I saw that improved this much. Infamous saying Charles Barkley admitted the same thing a few weeks ago on TNT that he doesn't watch Raptors games, but casuals will run with his opinion on the team. Shaking my head. There you go. There you go. People are listening to people that aren't actually watching the Raptors. It could even be ESPN writers aren't watching us that closely. Seriously, there's not a lot of people that are watching us as closely as us. So we know more about the Raptors than the experts. We really do. We watch them so closely and watch every fucking interview. The Raptor Freak channel is your best place to get the absolute truth about the Raptors. Seriously. So many other places do not have them in mind, and they're anti them, and they're going to slant it in the way they cover them. Whether it is Pensair, he's anti-Raptors. Honestly, the U.S. media is anti-Raptors. Charles Barkley and TNT crew is anti-Raptors. David Thorpe is anti-Raptors. You want the real truth from people that are listening and watching all the games. You come here and listen to us because we know what we're fucking talking about. Carlos saying change his entire archetype. I'm not even sure who you're talking about. You're talking about Pascal. Stargate saying, so let me get this straight. He doesn't watch Raptor games, but he has all this great analysis. What's wrong with the Raptors? How sway? I know, Stargate. The audacity of David Thorpe to come in and say, well, I don't really watch the Raptors, but the problem with them is Dennis Schroeder and Darko. They're taking over. They're just running the team, and they're not letting Scotty do what he wants to do. That's bullshit. That's such bullshit. All right, David is giving a membership, and Infamous has picked it up. That's awesome. Love to see a great Raptor Freak, Infamous, getting a gifted membership from David. Cool Cat saying that, Carlo, I went and listened to his show on True Hoop, and I have a sneaky suspicion that both Pascal and Scotty are clients of David Thorpe for specific ball stuff. Really? Really? I don't know about that. Why are we giving David Thorpe any credit? We need to discredit him. He's a piece of shit. He's been used on the platform of Ed Rogers to make more confusion and problems to Masai when they're down. They're in a bad place, and all of a sudden David Thorpe comes on a TV show and espouses his stupid ass opinions. Yeah, that's certain timing, Cool Cat. Let's not be naive to this. That these people are after Masai, and this is them putting the smear campaign out there to make things murkier and harder for him by misinforming the fan nation, is what it is. Yeah, Carlos saying Santa David. That's right. He is like a Santa Claus. David saying, 'tis the season, Carlos. Is a good omen on game days. It just hasn't worked lately. I see. He's giving memberships on game days to hopefully we win. I like that. I like that. 'Tis the season to be jolly. La 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 la. Let's see. Cool Cat. Carlo, Detective Cat. That is possible, though. I don't know. Fuck all that shit. Even if David Thorpe's working with them, if I was Messiah, I would tell my guys, stop working with David Thorpe. I think the most important point here, Cool Cat, isn't who he's working with, isn't whether he's working for Masai, is that he straight up fucking said he doesn't watch the Raptors, and he's trying to analyze what's wrong with our team. That tells us everything we need to know right there. And that's just to pause and stop and discredit and don't listen to him at that point. Seriously, he just told you straight up he doesn't know what he's talking about. So why are we putting any weight into what he says? Seriously. All right, and Jillian's saying, nice guy, David. We'll win tonight. Jillian's got to get one of these subs. She's going to jump in there and get one of these soon, I'm sure. David's saying, oh, that depends who you ask. Monique is saying, like I said in the group chat, you can't just blame it all on one person. Shaking my fucking head in reference to David Thorpe's BS. Laughing my ass off. I know, Monique. I wish this guy would just go away. Alton Brown's goofy, eccentric cousin. It's like Alton Brown's already goofy and eccentric. How do you be the most eccentric cousin out of him and you, Alton Brown, and you, David Thorpe? What is that? Jillian's saying, Lex, unfuckwithable. Yeah, it's a term. It's something you get to in a certain point in your life where, people can say whatever they want to you and it won't affect you. You're unflappable. You're unfuckwithable. And Dennis, in some ways, is unfuckwithable. He's accomplished so much and he has a supreme confidence in himself. And he understands that he prepares and does things as a professional in the right way. He's going to be fine. So all this noise and all this bullshit and whatever happens to him, he's flexible and he'll make it work because he has the right priorities. First is his family. Second's being the ultimate pro and coming professionally to games in the right way and playing the right way. And in some ways, we need more of his leadership. It could very well be that people on the outside are seeing the unprofessionalism of the Raptors, but they're saying, well, Dennis is still being a professional. Jakob is still being a professional. Darko is trying his damnedest to be a professional coach and get them to listen to him. So let's attack the people that are most professional on the team. And everybody else who's not being as professional, we'll just ignore. Because in some ways, this is true. The most professional people in the starting lineup right now are Dennis and Jakob. They show up on the right attitude and they come correct, ready to play at the beginning of the game. It's the other three guys who aren't coming correct and getting engaged in the game. So in some ways, the way that they point fingers at the guys who are actually doing the right thing tells me that these people are trying to destroy the Raptors and make them even worse because they're pointing fingers at the people that are actually doing things correctly instead of the people who are not. And that's why I say these people, they don't know what they're talking about, honestly. Infamous is saying, Lex, that's an excellent point. Scotty would never agree with anything that he says on his channel. Scotty's very protective about his teammates. All facts. Exactly. He probably hates Spencer if he knows who he is. Seriously, that's the most sad and tragic thing about Robert cocksucking Pencer, who just really wants to kiss Scotty's ass, is that if Scotty knew who he was and he knew what he's doing, he would be like, I'm disappointed in you. And you are not my fan because of the way you've been so toxic and destructive in social media places and the way you've talked about me and how you think I want. No, I don't want anything that you fucking say that I want. You fuck, and stop talking about me on your channel is what he probably tell him. Seriously. He knows me because I've talked to him and he knows that he can trust my information. I gave him the scouting report on the Carnes Taipans in the preseason. Scotty was like, oh, Lex, you know about Raptors Freak. You know about the Carnes Taipans. Can you tell me about their team? I was like, yeah, Scotty. They got a coach who just got in a fight with Aaron Baines. And yeah, they've got some big guys, but they're not very good. You should kick their ass pretty easy. Okay, thanks, Raptors Freak, for the scouting report. See, he trusts my information. He doesn't even know that fuckface exists. Seriously. And that's the thing. It's like, look, if he knew what he was saying and how much he's pulling things apart, he'd say, you're not my fan. You're not somebody who knows what I want because I'm an ultimate teammate. I'm happy in Toronto. And everything you're saying here is bullshit, is what he would tell him. That's what he would say. David's got another gifted membership, and this time Cool Cat's getting it. Look at that. Cool Cat, one of our MVPs, getting a gifted membership from David this morning. Thank you, David Saborin. It seems like I got a Christmas gift. That's right, Cool Cat. There you go. I know you're not on Facebook, or I'd invite you to the Facebook stuff. You had an open invite to be in there anyway already. Let's see. And he's got a heart for her and then saying, Jillian, I think there's a setting where you need to accept gifts or something like that. You got to get one of these. Do you have that turned on? I don't know how YouTube does it. It's really random in certain ways. I think it is just a very random thing. And it just kind of it's a lottery. And it just happened to fall in Cool Cat. We'll get Jillian at some point. She'll get one at some point, I'm sure. Thanks for the cutoff, Fiercey. Jillian's saying, Lex, I like listening to your fascinating theories. Please, please, please protect yourself. Yeah, I mean, okay, thanks. We'll check, Dave. Give me a sec. Listen, it is what it is. I'm an outspoken person, and in some ways I worry about being so outspoken and saying the things that I say. That big powers out there may not like me talking like this, but we need people like me to be brave more and more as time goes on, because the big bullies and the big forces, the big corporations are going to start trying to be more and more. And in some ways, free speech and being able to be people like me is more and more important. And I know people in general are for free speech and for people having freedom. So I'll start in that spot right there and say, look, this is where I stand with this and stuff like that. If anybody wants to come and try and fuck with me, well, I'm 6'4" and I can handle myself on an individual basis. So if somebody wants to come and see me wherever I am, well, I can handle myself. Let's just put it that way. But I appreciate you telling me to look out for myself. My theories, maybe some of them conspiracy and crazy and out there. But in some ways, sometimes you can read between the lines and kind of see some of the truth through the veil. And I know Ed Rogers III hates Masai, and he really does want to hurt him and get him out in any kind of way he can. So why wouldn't he use his network, Sportsnet, to put people on that would make his life more miserable and maybe try and force him out? Why wouldn't he do that? He would use everything in his power, I'm sure. Ed Rogers III. I wouldn't put it past him. Cool Cat saying, use our players' mantra: control the things you can control, and don't worry about the things you can't control. Boom goes the dynamite, and that's the way for everybody in their lives. Everybody in their lives. You really, to find the perfect place to be happy is to understand what you can and cannot control, and stop trying to force your will on the things you can't control. Really take care of what you can control and shape it in those areas, and boom, you'll get a better and better life of what you want, because you understand what you can and can't control. You don't get all hung up and emotional about what you can't control, and you really, really focus on what you can. It's really, really the best way to find happiness. And most people are miserable because they don't understand what they can and cannot control, and they can't let go of what they can't control. It's a very simple building block to happiness right there. Yeah. And in the game, they need to control what they can, and that's their play on the court. And that will help them get wins. And then getting wins will help, in some ways, help Darko. And that will all help everything with the Raptors. Monique saying, W stream, keep at it as always, Lex. Good times, good times. Carlos saying, alley oop to Mugabe. All right, we'll give Mugabe an alley oop. I like that. I like that. You guys were kind of going back and forth, but it was nothing contesting, just kind of trying to figure it out. Stargate saying, some idiot in the comment section of the David Thorpe interview on YouTube is trying to give he shall not be named credit for saying the same things Thorpe said. I went in there and wasted them, blasted them. Good stuff, Stargate. Yeah, I mean, honestly, even Kenyon's on this too. Basketball Rewind. He's pushing this too. He's like, oh, I saw all the things David saw too. Okay, but David's not really watching. And honestly, you guys are not helpful, all of y'all. Kenyon, listen, I like you, bro, as a person, but in a lot of ways, you're an idiot. You really are. And sometimes when you come in here, when Basketball Rewind, I'm not really happy when you come in here because of some of the stupid shit you say, Kenyon. All right. Oh, Kenyon. All right, let's keep going. Monique saying, congratulations on another amazing visit to Holland Blurview, Pascal. All right, let's do the Instagram check real quick. We got Marquise with his highlights from 905 last night. He's showing good play where he's kind of directing people on the court, him and Justice Winslow. There's his stat line with Jonte Porter. Beautiful, beautiful stuff, Marquise. There's that dunk that he did off the backboard for Miles Burns. Ooh, such a good highlight. Y'all got to see that. It's such a cool highlight, the one where he did the backboard dunk for Miles. So good. And then Marquise is saying the grind may go unnoticed, but the results won't. Yeah, let's go, Marquise. Keep pushing and push this team up higher. Pascal at Holland Blurview yesterday, his annual visit to go and visit the kids at the hospital. And honestly, this is something that is always a humbling experience for Pascal. His friends at Holland Blurview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital. He goes in there and he gets perspective, y'all. He understands there's more to life than just basketball and all the pressures he goes through, that there's levels to this. And these people have their own things to overcome, just like he has things to overcome. But in some ways, it gives him perspective, and it gives him a place to understand that it's bigger than him. And there's a lot in this world, and caring and understanding and different things. And that kind of a visit to Holland Blurview is so good for his soul, and so good for just a new perspective and realigning himself on what matters. So thank you, Siakam, for going there and brightening the day for those young people at the hospital, and just making them feel special, and just so awesome to see you do it, man. You're awesome, Siakam. And I know you get a lot from it yourself. I know it's selfish in some ways why you're doing it, but it is so, so beautiful and amazing what you're doing. There's so many clips of him with the kids there and just interacting with them yesterday. You go, Siakam. You go, PS43 Foundation. Just amazing, amazing people making a difference and making people smile. That's what it's all about. Dennis has got more of his gear on blast. He's showing off all kinds of shirts. That's tough, with a frowny, angry basketball going through a flaming hoop. All kinds of good stuff. Lots of That's Tough, Dream Big t-shirts and swag that's on sale by Dennis. And then he's got a picture of his awards. He's got a couple of weird little Mickey Mouses
And then he's got his YouTube award for how many subscribers he's got. So I think he's putting on blast that he got to a new milestone on his YouTube channel and that he got a new plaque from YouTube. Pretty cool. 905, of course, lots of highlights and stuff from their game last night. Very good job, Raptors 905 last night. And then we got Slim Duck. He's got all kinds of fun stuff on his Instagram right now in his stories. He's got the echoes of Boomba Clot. He's got if you want a real honest opinion, ask a kid. Yeah, that's a good idea. If you need an opinion, go ask a kid. They'll tell you the truth. Jeremy woke up and shows violence, and that is Chris as a kid, apparently. They're funny. You have to go see them yourself because I can't really tell you the jokes. Throwback to when my dad and uncle pranked our kids at Christmas. So he's in good mood. Chris may be hurt right now with his bruise, but he's posting a lot of funny stuff on his Instagram pictures. So yeah, go check out Chris's sense of humor. There's a lot of fun stuff on there. And let's see, Gary's got him and Grady on blast with the Gillette team styled or team smooth stuff. That's always on blast this year. It's Grady and them. And then Superfan congratulating SGA on being Canadian Athlete of the Year. And it's so well deserved. That's our guy, SGA. He's the Canadian Athlete of the Year out of all athletes in Canada. SGA winning that. That's awesome. I love that. All right. Thanks for the Instagram check, Monique. Infamous is saying, thank you for the membership. Have a productive day. Thank you, David, for memberizing Infamous. Very awesome. Stargate saying, I went into the comment section of that Thorpe interview on YouTube and big up Raptors Freak and Chev and called he who shall not be named a nonsensical, prattle-talking charlatan. Beautiful, beautiful work, Stargate. Thank you. As a Rogers employee, you are so defiant and awesome. I love you for that. His minions are mad. Laugh at my ass off. There you go. There you go. The truth hurts there, Pantsera. You motherfucker. Scotty would be so mad at you, seriously, for some of the things you're trying to say right now. Let's see. Because what is he saying? He's saying we're trying to keep it together, and you're trying to pull it apart. Fuckface. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely's saying Stargate. Yes. Clap, 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 clap. Yes. Good job. Trevor's saying, Lex, we were trying to come to Toronto for this game tonight, all 50 of us, but tickets were too expensive for last minute decision. But let's go Raptors. That's interesting. It's like Trevor's going to these games quickly with huge groups. And what's happening is he can find cheaper tickets at the last minute for arenas in New York and Philadelphia, but not in our own arena in Toronto. Holy crap. Holy crap. Trevor, you going to drive everybody up over here or take a flight? Holy cow. Trevor, you go. You get to that Philadelphia game next week. I know you're going to go to that one. You're talking about going to that one. Jillian saying, go Raps, go. I love it. All right, let's do a real quick recap. We're right at 2 hours, and this will make Adriana happy. First of all, injury report for the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young is day-to-day, probable tonight. Hunter also day-to-day for the game. Jalen Johnson is out. And then Mohamed Gay is out for the Atlanta Hawks also. So that's the injury report for the Hawks right now. And then on our side of things, Coloco's out. And then Porter and Boucher are both questionable for tonight. The referees tonight are Scott Foster, Carl Lane, and Derek Richardson. It's it's a weird crew. In some ways, if Trae Young pisses off Scott Foster, it could turn out to be a very good ref crew for us. We'll have to see that. And then what else do I have? Is it real quick? I think that's it. My 5 stars of the game for 905 last night: Jonte Porter, Kevin O'Banner, Marquise Noel, Mohamed Ugui, and Daryl Morsell were my stars for last night. All right, let me just do the main event marquee matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Scotiabank Arena. The Raptors are back for a home stand. And tonight we're hosting the first game of 2 against the Atlanta Hawks here in Scotiabank Arena. In this corner for the Atlanta Hawks, it's the ice cold man, little chicken nugget man, Trae Young. And in this corner from Braunschweig, Germany, former Atlanta Hawk and FIBA MVP of the World Cup, Dennis Schroeder. And what are they going to be competing in today? Well, they're going to be competing in a scooter race. That's right, a scooter race around Scotiabank Arena. Who's going to scoot around that court fast enough to get the win for their team? Both teams, similar records, similar losing streaks right now. Who's going to break the losing streaks to get to the W's? Let's hope it's the home team, and let's just get that win tonight, Raptors. Keys to the victory. Let's bully ball them. Let's get down low, and let's beat them near the paint. Let's get the rebounds. Let's make our open shots. Let's make our free throws. Let's keep our defensive assignments correct and in the right places, and let's just have a better effort. You guys are under scrutiny right now. You're under scrutiny from your fans. You're under scrutiny by your coaches. You're under scrutiny by your front office, and everybody's watching. You're under a microscope, and it is time to excel, succeed, and be badasses and win. That's what y'all need to do against Atlanta right now. If you guys want to stay together, you've got to succeed together right now, or you're not going to be together very soon. Watch. Yeah. All right. Let's go. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching me today. And I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Get out there and Raptor your day. Put that right energy out there so the Raptors have the best chance to win tonight. I appreciate every one of y'all. And don't believe the bullshit artists that don't actually watch this team. Who the fuck are you to talk about our team if you tell us that you don't fucking watch it? Yeah, you're not qualified, is what I'll say to that. All right, let's go Raptors. Let's beat the Hawks, baby.